I hate that song. Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have the Joker himself, Alex.
Oh, hello, everyone.
And across from me, the Riddler himself, Garrett. So they're in a war, baby.
That took a weird turn.
It did real quick.
And I am Alfred. I can make myself anybody. I make
Alfred,
myself
give me my fucking next course.
I literally was going to be like, because I'm looking at Batman, and I am Batman, but it was like, then I thought of Alfred. And we'll talk about that later.
You should have had me be the Joker, and I could have been like, when it comes to Riddler, who cares?
Out of you two, he's got to be Riddler. I mean, Joker.
Why? Because he looks like, he looks like a clown.
Ouch. Because he looks like him.
I mean, if I grow out my beard, I get red hair. That's about it. I mean,
No, I just mean, I don't know. I think that,
wait, you're saying I'm more wise?
I think you could pull off the Riddler better, and he could pull off the Joker better. Like, if we were going to do a play, you want to do a play? So I think that he would be.
So he's actually saying, I'm crazier and you're more methodical.
I think if we were, like, if you guys were actually actors, I think, yeah, he could do it. Even though you did
well,
dress
you're
up
as
Joker.
blind as a bat.
You did dress up as Joker for Halloween last year, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, right?
By the way, I think I know who I want to be for Halloween this year, and it's really easy. I think I want to be Constantine. Just get a coat, red tie.
You don't have blonde hair.
White shirt. So
Keanu Reeves version?
Constantine, but
Definitely not.
everyone else calls him Constantine.
well, if you're American, which I am, so I don't know why I'm fucking correcting. I hate that about people. Some people are like, it's actually Constantine, but whatever. You can call it whatever you want. It is comic books. We are Wednesday Comics, weekly comic book podcast. I've never done it before, and every time I listen to the show, I'm pretty sure I'm like, I should introduce what the show is. I mean, if you've seen the notes, you know. Find us on WednesdayComics.com or on Twitter.
If I may, I think our title itself pretty much suggests we're going to talk comic books of some kind.
You don't know. We could be talking about comics like comedians. We could be talking about...
like maybe there's a show where they have comedians on Wednesdays.
Or, yeah, we could be talking about Wednesday...
buy one, get one free comedians.
We were talking about right before the show started. DC has a streaming service coming out. Have they announced when that's going to happen or not? Or they're still...
No,
that's rolling.
More of the... So, with this, they're making a Titans TV show.
Yeah.
And there's been more news about Titans than there has about the streaming service itself.
So they're going to have a streaming service. I believe I read, I don't know who it's from, somebody at Warner Brothers. It's not just going to be movies or like, video content. It's going to be also like comic books, things like that. So I would imagine it's going to be basically, Marvel Unlimited plus streaming. They want to be Netflix and Marvel Unlimited, one thing.
Yeah.
Mainly because I think they see how popular that kind of service is. We talked about last week. People like stuff that they can binge on demand. So, and DC Comics, there's a lot of stuff on Hoopla actually, and so they give a lot away for free. But I think they want to kind of like really give all. It's not everything. It's a lot of the newer stuff. I think they really want to go in their back catalog and like put all Detective Comics on there.
If they put the entire run of Batman Detective, I'm reading it all from like start to finish.
1,000 issues? How long do you think it would take you to read that? How long does it take
5
you
years
to read an issue?
Takes me like on average.
Yeah.
If it's a wordy comic, probably 15 minutes.
Oh, Sam, it depends if it's really wordy. Could take me up to a half an hour.
Like Dark Knight's Metal took me like 25 minutes to read because there's just so much.
Yeah, it took me about 30 for that.
But some books, if they're, pretty silent.
But those are all
2 minutes.
But if you think about the first couple issues, they were all the quarterly. So that's like 80-page comics. So that would take longer.
So
it would take me a long fucking time.
So they're going to have that. They announced content-wise they're doing Teen Titans.
It's
or
called
just Titans. Just Titans. They're not Teen Titans. They're just Titans.
They could be. They've cast like almost everybody.
Dick Grayson.
They've cast Dick Grayson. They've cast Starfire. They've cast Raven. Those are the only three I know of. They've cast so far.
And then also Young Justice Season 3 is going to be on there.
Yep.
Which is
which everyone wants.
One of the best DC animated things I've ever seen. Yeah. They're both... No, they took it off on Netflix August 1st.
Yep.
I thought Netflix had it.
They did. They took it off. And I think...
They know it's hot.
I think, they're taking back all their stuff to put on that streaming service, which makes me think it might be soon. But you would think they would wait until that's ready.
Well, usually, casting for a show, so probably a year, so maybe by next fall.
I think Young Justice 3, they said, next year. So
if they wanted to do if they started with Young Justice, I don't think they could do that first and be like, hey, go get. But I think they really want to be like, hey, Titans, come check this shit out.
So they're using that, and that's kind of smart. So the comic book part of it, they can get people who read comics pick, oh, I want to get all DC's back catalog. And the people who want to watch that stuff, they go, oh, I want to watch that. And then while they get anyways, like if they have the service, they're going to be like, I might as well read this comic. I pay for this service, and maybe they'll start reading comics.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't think about that till right now. That's a good ploy. They can get people from both, or people who want to read the comics. And they go, oh, I pay for this service. Let's try out this Titans thing. What's the harm in watching the episode? And if it's good enough, then they'll watch it and they'll keep subscribing. You know, I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is the different, like everything has a streaming service now. It used to be where it was like only Netflix, only
you'd be paying $500 to get all this exclusive content.
It is true, but people for the longest time have wanted a la carte channels to be like, I just want to pay for what I watch. So, I mean, you really don't have to get everything, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. So, like, I feel like
I would drop everything for DC.
So. I would get that in our. What's a price that's too much for you? Let's say they say it's $20 a month. Is that too much? $20.
$20 is quite a bit. I mean, if you compare it to everybody else,
it is
in the scheme of things.
What if they say this though?
But if it's like Marvel Unlimited,
that's what I said. What if they say it's Marvel Unlimited and a streaming service, so like it's worth $20?
That would be worth $20 to me.
I think,
but I'd rather it be like a higher rate. Like I'd rather it be like Amazon Prime, like $100 for that a year.
Yeah, they
then spend $20 a month.
$100 or $20 a month.
Yeah,
$100 a year.
Holy shit! The obvious answer right there would be do the $100.
Yeah, right.
No, I know.
Right.
But I mean,
well, that's what any service does. It's like, hey, you could either do it the high monthly price or pay the annual not as high price.
Here's what I think they do to justify the price. You go $10, and then just in the shows put in like one ad or two ads. Do that.
Fucking no. If I'm paying for a streaming service, fuck that. Like even Hulu, goddamn those bastards.
You gotta pay more.
You have to pay. It's $11.99. I mean, I pay $12.99 on Netflix
so
for 4K.
The ads. But I would do that if they said, "Hey, $10 or $15."
I would do 15. I think 15 is reasonable.
15 is a sweet spot for both those things.
Yeah, because if you do $5 for 12 months, I mean, that's about the same price as unlimited.
20 would be too much for me.
Really?
Yeah. But if they did what you said, pay for a year up front, then I would do that.
Yeah.
If it was cheap.
Especially if it's $100. Holy shit.
Yeah, if it's like half price.
Right.
I'm just saying that $20 for 12 months. Holy shit, $240. That's like a steal.
Yeah, you're almost paying for the seasons. But again, to be able to read every single issue of Superman, not saying that you could ever do it in a life. I mean, you could do it in a life.
I think you could do it, but you'd be done reading weeklies. You'd be done buying trades of ever. Plus, you never have to buy a trade. You already own it.
Well, I saw online you can actually buy the digital collections of like Batman and Detective. They're like $500 to buy them digitally. So
the collections?
Yeah.
If they were releasing those Golden Age where they're actually going through.
Starting with one?
Yeah.
I didn't believe they were doing that. I always thought those started at a random number.
No, I borrowed Volume 1 from Hoopla, and it starts at issue 1.
How many times have I been fucked over by one of those things, though? I did Batman Chronicle, got to like Volume 10, and then they fucking did something new. They do something new again.
They did Archives.
Showcase.
And then now they're doing these. I know, that's the thing.
They want to boost sales. They're like, hey, here's this thing that's never going to come to fruition, but get the first couple.
It seems like they go far enough, and then they're like, let's republish, and they want to start back at the beginning. Yeah. So if you have a service like this that's streaming, then you don't have to do that anymore. Because I don't see really, I mean, Marvel does stuff every once in a while, but I don't see them really putting out like that type of stuff. They used to do, for a while, they used to do something like that Avengers back there that I have. It was that, whatever that hardcover, they were putting out hardcovers for a while. What's it called? Does it say anything at the bottom? That one? Yeah, is it called? Hey, pull it out real quick. Masterworks? Is that what it's called? Yeah. I mean, this isn't it.
Well, they have a new one. They have a new Essentials.
Essentials, that's what it is.
But now they're hardcover, yes, and they're colored, but they're not starting from the beginning. They start randomly. Yeah. They're random issues, which is, again, stupid.
But yeah, if you have a digital service that has it all, I think I would pay for it. Now, like I said, bearing price.
Yeah.
But I am excited for Young Justice 3. I love Young Justice 1 and 2. It's really good.
It is. It's some of the best DC animated work.
Titans, I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. It does have... Here's the thing. Have you ever seen Fringe?
No, I have not.
I've seen always one or two episodes of it.
Fringe.
Love me some Joshua Jackson.
Akira Goldman, I think. What's his name? The guy, he's on Titans now. He's running it. Akiva.
Are you sure Akiva? I was thinking there's
What's
a
his
V
last
in
name?
there. Goldman sounds right.
He did Fringe. I like Fringe.
Fringe is
He
good.
also did. He also, I think he helped with Batman and Robin, Batman Forever.
That's where I fucking he's one of the executive producers. Ah,
So like he's in charge. Like if you look at his IMDb, it's like shit. Like it's like crap. Like
9mm or 8mm, whatever the fuck that.
I think
was.
actually, yeah, you're right.
Oh god.
And then it's like one thing I like, and then it's again crap. I think he actually helped. Don't quote me on this, but I think he helped with like Amazing Spider-Man 2. You know, like everything he touches is like instead of being Midas with the golden touch, that man like tucks and it goes to shit. And so like that has me worried that this might be like not good. However, Jeff Johns helping right with this.
Jeff Johns and Greg Berlanti. So
like,
I mean, those two are fucking great.
Are those two gonna outweigh his bag of shit, or like what's gonna happen here?
I think they're controlling everything. So I still feel like it's okay. I just don't know why you need him in there at all.
I feel like he is a lot like David S. Goyer. Like David S. Goyer is a good story guy, being like, here's a good story idea. But then if he writes a script, you're like, oh, stay away from that.
Nobody likes Martian Manhunter. Fuck you.
But like, so if he's writing like the story, then it's fine. But if you want him on the script, then it's so like cliched and dumb. So he's a good guy to like have in the room and be like, what about this part? And he like is good about being like, what about this? But he can't execute.
Yeah.
I think that's Akiva. He can't execute. So maybe with
That's
those
why
two
that
there-
fucking Krypton show is going to fucking flop.
Oh yeah, he's in charge of that too, I think.
David S. Goyer is.
David S. Goyer.
It was
Oh, yeah,
his,
David S.
It was
Goyer
his pitch. And I know it's Superman, but God, I don't think I want to watch that. I just feel like it's going to be convoluted, especially with the whole plot of Superman's villains coming to the past to kill. Why the who? If you were coming up with a grand scheme to go back in time, who in their fucking right mind would be like, "Oh, I'm not going to go kill his parents. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to kill his grandparents." Nobody. Nobody's going to go that extra step and be like, I'm going to go 2 links back and then fucking end it.
Who is on that team that's coming back, right? We talked about it once in the show, but I forgot who it was.
What team? What do you mean?
Like, it's like Brainiac, right? That comes back and tries to kill his grandparents. Yeah. Brainiac, I think, like Zod. It's a group of people.
Everybody.
But I think there's actually some Kryptonians in there. And it doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't they just be like, come back and be like, hey, by the way, this planet's going to fucking blow up? Rather than be like, hey, we got to kill Superman. Like, that's more important
like,
for us.
if you think about it, Superman would never go to fucking Earth if fucking Krypton doesn't blow up.
I know, just leave it there and then he'll stay there and he'll never become super powered. He'll just be a dude.
Right. You know, there's 2 versions of how Krypton gets destroyed.
Ends. I think we just wrote the ending.
Either Zod or Brainiac is the one that destroys Krypton. It's always one of those 2.
Brainiac does in the Superman animated series.
Right. In the animated series, it's Brainiac, and then Zod does
in the
it movies, basically.
Well, he kind of does it by telling him to ignore Jor-El.
Right.
He's like, don't mind the volcanoes exploding. Like, he's fucking lying.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like climate change. That's not what's going to happen. Yeah, it depends, though, that series. If they take it super serious, like if it's like a hard sci-fi, it could be good. If it's about politics and like they use the lore to like, you know, like salt on top of food rather than being like, here, just all it is cheesy Superman stuff. If it's just that, I don't think it's be good. But if they make it like really about sci-fi politics and about like
his family,
about like, you know, all that kind of stuff, I would think it would be good. But it depends. Once again, though, David S. Goyer, it's not going to be subtle at all.
He helped write The Dark Knight, so
he wrote the story. Right. He didn't write the script.
That's true.
Jonathan Nolan
That's true.
That's what I said. He's a good story guy.
Right.
But once he starts writing down words, then you got to slap his hand away and be like,
right,
no,
get the fuck out.
Just pitch it in the room, buddy. Just pitch it in the room. We'll write it later. Mm-hmm. When he starts writing, then he's just like, fight, punch you in the face. All right. Thank you, David.
You know, I was watching. This is last thing before we go to books. I saw this meme online of The Dark Knight Rises, and it was Bane and Batman fighting, right?
Yeah.
And Batman's cocked up for a punch, and he's like, "Bane, what's in your face?" And then it's fucking him elbowing Bane in the face, and it's Batman saying, "Pain." I thought that was funny.
It was just you who thought that was funny.
Okay. That made him. He brought up fighting, but it's like his elbow and Bane's like, "Ugh," and then Batman's like, "Pain."
Okay.
Well, to end on that joke, we're gonna get super serious for a second. No, we're not. Secret Empire. Hey, I didn't write the number, but it's number 10. Written by Nick, the mastermind, with proof of this issue, Spencer. Art by Steve McNiven, Rod Rice, David Marquez, Paco Medina, Juan Velasco, Jesus Alberto. How do you say that? Albertov.
I don't know. I'm not
Ron
looking at
Liv,
it.
Toriogato, Mr. Robot.
colors by Matthew Wilson. You know what? It says David Marquez. I looked in there. Where is he at? I don't know. Where's David Marquez in this issue? You see David Marquez anywhere?
No. Maybe on those last 2 pages where they're showing the future.
So we have the conclusion
Oh, sorry.
to Secret Empire. This is the end of says issue 10, but it's actually 12. There's one more actually. Epilogue.
Yeah, this is
Even though there's an epilogue in here, there's an epilogue to the epilogue. So
this is $55 out of 60.
So what happens is Sam stands up to Captain America. Rather than being subtle, being like, man, it's just like when Cap stood up to Thanos directly in the book. There's a panel just to remind you in case you don't know. That actually is a cool scene in Infinity Gauntlet. And then when it was in here, I was like, I don't know. I felt like I would have, if it was not called out, I would have been like, that's cool. Like that's like Infinity Gauntlet. But to be called out, to be like, here's what I'm referencing. Make sure you think that it's as important as it was in that story. For me, that's kind of like, all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the...
it's kind of like if you're playing basketball, some kid's like, look at me, I'm Michael Jordan. He goes up for a slam, and you're like, all right, just slam the ball. Like, what are you fucking
there was a lot of callbacks to other things like the Civil War beam off the shield
Yes.
thing. And I was like, come on.
That's what I thought for a second,
what the
too.
Fuck?
Like,
It seemed unoriginal.
even
Yeah.
though it is... so Sam comes up. He was actually tricking Cap, and they stole the Cosmic Cube.
Kobik.
They didn't steal it. Bucky went into the Cosmic Cube in the microverse, talked to Kobik, and said, hey, let's bring back Steve. What are you fucking doing? And she was like, all right. And she came out and she was like, let's bring back not the real Steve, her thought of what the real Steve should be. And this fake Steve Rogers comes out of nowhere. He's like, boom, old costume. I didn't notice that right away.
That costume looked fucking great, though.
Yeah, I love that costume. I hate it. So that's one thing. So you can tell the legacy. I think they were going back to old costumes. No more movie costumes. At least that's my impression from seeing that. Being like, oh, they went with the wings. All right. Guess we're going to go with classic costumes. He pops out. He starts fighting Hydra Cap. And that's what I thought too. I was like, so really, like, this is basically, again, another Iron Man Captain America fight for like the 5th time. And then when he gets depowered, then it's like, okay, now it's actually Cap versus Cap. But I was telling Alex before you got here on the before the show, it's weird that the real Steve Rogers is still Hydra, but he says he was not. He wasn't the real one. Like, I'm the real one, but really, he's not. He's the real one. Like, they're saying, no, I'm the real one. It's fake, right?
Yeah.
It's not real.
just like a memory of him.
The real Steve Rogers is still Hydra. He's still alive. Who knows what's going to happen to him? I guess he exists in this world as a villain still. They're probably just going to lock him up and he'll come back, I guess. But it's not really... Like, I thought... I don't know. It just felt like... And I was telling you guys before we started that this is like a really convoluted ending. I don't think it's actually the thing that Nick wanted to do. It feels like that Marvel's like, hey, you have to bring back classic Steve Rogers. And he was like, okay, well, how am I going to make that happen? Well, okay, we'll use the Cosmic Cube. We'll just bring back... But he so much wanted to be like, but I told him already that the Cosmic Cube's not going to change Hydra Cap back. We'll just keep him. But then it doesn't really make, like, for me, it's like, okay, well, it's not really.
That's segueing that it does.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely did.
Yeah, I know. He said
Right.
issue 1, he's not going to do it. But then he did it, but he's like, but she brought back, like, the idea of Steve. Not actually change Hydra
Which is
back.
weird. How do you make an idea fight a physical person? I get she's an all-powerful...
She's reality changing power.
So then why don't you just shove idea Steve back into the body?
That's what I thought.
Because she erased everyone else's mind and reminded everybody the correct
That's
things,
why it didn't
the
make
past.
sense. She basically rewrote everything. So instead of the Secret World Cloud, we have Kobik's doing a mind wipe to everybody, doing like rewriting everything. Why not just, hey, I made you Hydra. Let's make you not Hydra.
But which would make sense though, because I'm gonna just call him Captain. And then there's Steve, or okay, so it's Captain.
Hydra? And then
So
Captain, yeah.
Steve, and then there's Hydra. Fuck you guys. Now I'm confused.
Hydra.
Captain and Hydra.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot now.
I would rather...
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go.
Okay, so Steve, Captain, is giving back the shield, going, no, this isn't mine. Well, actually, it is yours. Keep it. Then he throws the hammer back to female Thor. Like I realize he's giving these powers back to who they're currently at. But since Odin's son Thor is actually there anyway, who actually had the hammer.
And he had a huge part in this story.
Yeah.
That just gave me fucking goosebumps. How awesome would it be if Cap's like, and then fucking Odin's son grabs, oh, fuck.
Because I was
way better.
I was disappointed that she got the hammer back.
And you know what I thought also? It's like, so cool. Isn't it strange? So, like, we learned that Madame Hydra had the Cosmic Cube and she rewrote Mjolnir's thing, so that's why Steve could pick it up. Is this?
You.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And rewrote it so that way Hydra Cap could pick it up. But she's been dead for what, 3 issues?
Yeah.
So, and then we had in issue 8, was it? That Thor's kind of like, oh, well.
I'm going to be a good guy.
Like, yeah. So why, like, he never thought to, like, check the hammer and be like, what does it say on the side of this motherfucker? Like, why can't I pick this up?
Right.
So, it's just, there's things that were wrong.
That's what I mean. It feels like it was rewritten because there's so many things that don't make sense from the beginning. That like there's a lot of logical jumps being like, and I told you guys before the show started. At the end, the big thing is like they're 2 kids playing with a toy, and it zooms in, and it's Sam Wilson, Captain America. For what reason?
No fucking sense.
So it makes me think he's supposed to be a hero of the story, and at the last second they couldn't pull the trigger, and they're like, no, make it Steve. Like, we need to go back to Legacy.
That epilogue did nothing for me.
I think and I have been probably not the most, but I've been a very harsh critic of Sam Wilson just because I was like, he hasn't earned it. Like, it seems weird that he's taking it over just because, and he fought with old Steve. I feel like if this story was him stepping up to Hydra Cap and, like, taking him out and, like, telling people you can believe in Captain America again, like, that's not... He's the old way, like I'm the new way. Like you have to stand up to these people. Like we can't just let them stand. If it was him, I'd have been like, yes, that's Captain America. Like now he's captain for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was supposed to mean at the end. The kid's like, he's my captain. But when Steve comes out, he's like, let him do his thing. And so it's like he steps
even
back.
Bucky tells him to go, whoa, this is his fight.
This is his fight.
No, it wasn't Bucky.
Right.
No, it's Sam said that. He said,
Sam goes, it's his
let
fight.
him. This is his fight. And I want it to be like, no, Sam, it's your fight.
Yeah.
That's your friend out there who got turned bad. And you walked away from this. The whole thing is him walking away from this. This is supposed to be his redemption, being like, no, I'm going to stand up. I walked away from all of this. I walked away from saving America and like the ideals that I'm supposed to stand for. And he should have showed up at the end and been like, no, I'm putting a stop to this. And he doesn't. He's just like, oh no. Oh, I guess Steve's back,
Dude,
guys.
You're totally right.
I'll take it back. I was like, what the fuck?
Kovac shouldn't even showed up until after Hydra Cap was defeated.
Yeah.
Like he should have, like Sam should have defeated him, and then Kovac would have been like, "I'm sorry, I didn't."
Yeah, then rewrite him and make
Yeah.
him actual Cap, and then Cap has to work and make Mark Waid serious about like, oh, Cap's ruined his fucking reputation. He's got to work back to
prove himself to be captain
himself
again.
that hey guys, I'm not Hydra anymore. I swear, like, and work his way back up to being the Cap that they know. But this story should have been Sam Wilson's Captain America,
But
like
then,
proving he's worth that. Because they like, well, then what was the whole point of him walking away and him coming back at issue 8 and being like, boom, I'm here. Just to be like, oh, actually, Steve's here. Okay, guys, I'm going to go take a break. What was the point?
But that very well could be what actually Mark Waid's run is going to be. It's just we don't get that part of the story. And maybe that's what Omega is going to be, is this is what it actually is supposed to be.
I have a feeling that's going to be now this dream Captain America is going to do the same thing, being like, hey, guys, I am the real Cap. Like, he's trying to prove himself.
Yeah.
But then, like, everybody's going to be like, dude, that Hydra Cap's still around, though. Like, what happens when he gets out?
See, my hope is that Ghost Cap got put into Supreme Hydra Cap.
Well, we didn't see that. Maybe that's what
we
Omega
didn't see
will be
that.
about.
But when you watch the, so everyone else is getting mind wiped or reminded or whatever you want to call it, there's a blue spirity ghosty thing going into him.
I believe that is showing, because he says they had like a time. He says he brought him back to remind them. That's the Older Generations book, basically, is that they're all going back to see their former selves to be like, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be. Which makes sense for that Sam Wilson thing to go back and see his old friend and be like, oh, yeah, this is who I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And he's in that group, but he doesn't get that in the story. He doesn't get the chance to be like, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be. He doesn't get a chance.
There's one thing that I thought was strong about this issue, other than the art, I thought was really good. They actually let Black Widow be dead and stay dead.
No, she came back at the end.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she's in one of the last couple pages.
She is, but they said they kept her dead.
They're on the funeral.
What do you mean they kept her dead? Nuh-uh, she's standing right there next to Hawkeye.
Yeah, no, not the Hawkeye. She's standing next to Rick Jones.
Yeah, they're both back.
I thought they were
That's
both
what that
dead.
means. No, they brought them both back.
Because they're
to
at her
life.
funeral.
No, she says we kept some things the same so they remember the sacrifice. Where is it at? Oh, here it is. But she left the scars in the wreckage, a reminder of our promise never again. So she left Las Vegas destroyed, and she left Black Widow and Rick Jones dead.
Oh.
And they're at her funeral.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the
I
end,
guess I
they're
don't
at her
understand
funeral at
that.
the end.
Oh.
So
And my second thing was, do you think the guy at the Inhuman that can throw up toys, do you think he made that Captain America Sam Wilson?
that toy that they're playing with?
Yeah.
Nah, he was sleeping, so.
Oh, that's right. He was sleeping.
I would give it like art.
What?
I'm between 7 and an 8.
In terms of just a single issue.
As an issue, I'm going to give
like-
it an 8.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like, it doesn't make sense for the story.
Yeah.
But like, for me, seeing like Cap come back and beat the shit out of that Hydra Cap, I was like, that's pretty cool. But I did, like, at the end of the day, like, it didn't make sense story wise. And so I was kind of like, it bugged me that Sam would just sat there and watch them fighting. And I was like, what the fuck?
Because
is
they're pulling a lethal weapon.
At the very least, help out your friend.
I'm hoping this Omega, like what I would have liked is instead of like having this fight in like the normal plane, like go to that thoughtscape, like they both are trapped inside Kobik,
Yeah.
and then fucking real Captain America like gives this huge fucking speech while he's beating the shit out of him, like, "Wow, you could never be Captain America," you know, like
Not
you
only
gotta
am I beating
stand
you
for
physically,
something.
but mentally I'm
Yeah, like,
beating
He'd
you.
be like, "There's no way you could wear that star." Just like fucking punch it or something.
I did like the art in this issue. See if we can even, I like his art, but
Yeah.
I think I would like to have seen if Sam
cool.
Wilson Cap had fought Supreme Hydra, and in the weakened state after he's just beating the shit out of him, then Kobik brings back Spirit Cap, and in the weakened state he can go back into the body and reclaim it, and then do like a final blow to Supreme Cap in the astral realm or wherever you want to call it.
I still got chills thinking that Odin's son could have had that
I know.
hammer back.
All he had to do was throw it to the right person.
You know
He
what?
caught it.
now talking about this, it actually kind of pisses me off more than actually when I read it. Because it's basically like in spoilers for the Matrix. But like in the Matrix, they tell him all the time, "Hey man, you're the one." And he doesn't believe. He goes, "I don't know, man." He's all these doubts. And for all this time in Sam Wilson's books, he's had these doubts. Can I really live up to being Captain America? Can I really live up to being Captain America? And then this is like the one chance where he like finally believes he can. Like in Matrix, he finally believes he can. He becomes the one. Like he comes back to life. And in this one, like it's finally his chance. He shows up at 8 and he's like, "All right, let's do this. Avengers assemble." And then Sam shows up. Steve shows up and he's like, "All right, you take it over."
So that's the case where the bullets actually do kill him. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, be like a Matrix, like, "You can't die, Neo, because the Oracle said I would fall in love with the one, and I love you." And then he's like, "Man, I'm actually dead, actually." Morpheus, where you at? You're actually the one.
Question for you guys.
Yeah.
I know that like so when Captain throws his shield, this is just in
His
general.
mighty shield. Get
His
right.
mighty shield. When he throws that mighty shield, you know, he does the math, the geometrics to catch it. Why can't he catch it when Hydra Cap throws it at him?
Yeah, he's off guard.
Okay.
Oh,
I just-
he does catch it.
No, he dodges it. He matrixes that shit.
I thought he picks it up at one point. And...
my only concern is now
Oh no, he gets his shield.
I feel like we
The
could have
circle
got
shield.
Right.
a series that post this that would have been Sam Wilson like being Cap, and I would have been like, "Yeah, I'm going to get that series." But now I'm feeling if I get a Sam Wilson Cap after this, it's going to be like he's going to be like, "Can I live up to this?" And it's like, dude, you've been asking. That was your chance. Now you
Yeah.
blew it. What do you mean?
Now we get Wade and Samney on fucking Steve Rogers. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's just be he's
Not gonna double dip
He's
on
going to
that
go back
Cap.
to the shadows, and I guarantee he goes back to being a Falcon. And for a while, remember I was saying, I was like, why he should be wearing Falcon? I like Falcon, but you could have proved yourself in the story. And I would have been like, cool.
I say, you know, I like the idea of Falcon Cap. I think that's actually a really cool idea. The one thing Captain can never do is fly. It's like, oh, that's sweet. And he's got those vibranium wings protected on both sides.
I give this issue just by itself like a 7, but like in terms of like this being the end of the story, I think I give it like a 4. It also seemed
yeah.
like very like quick, like boom. All right, here's your epilogue. Like I thought, it doesn't seem bigger than a normal issue.
No, it does not.
There's a lot of like big splash pages.
Should not have been $5.
And I even think that the final fight is decent, but it to me could have been another couple pages. Let this.
Yeah.
We've been building.
It
up to
started
this for
halfway
over
through
a
the
year.
book.
Yeah, over a year now. We've been reading this whole setup. This final fight felt really kind of in the dumps.
Yeah.
So-
By the way, I said that 7. It is biased because I do like Steve Rogers' old Cap costume, and like seeing him come back and beat the shit out of Hydra Cap was a little like fanboyish. I was kind of like, oh sweet fuck. I mean, I have a fucking right there on the painting of Steve Rogers in that costume. What did you give it? Did you give it a rating?
I give it an 8.
Oh, okay.
It was good. I mean, as an issue in its own, it was good.
If I read this by itself, I'd have been like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
good.
and I thought McNiven did a great job on the art.
But if the whole thing, I can't.
But then even the callbacks to Infinity Gauntlet and Civil War, it's like, you're hitting on stuff that's already been done and established.
I look forward to the epilogue of the epilogue. So
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got to be better.
I'm excited to see this book finally be done. So
I kind of just want to see like that epilogue of the epilogue better not just be a previews of all those legacy series coming up.
gotta hope not.
And also, if that epilogue is what we should look up the pricing because if it's $5, I don't think I'll get it.
Really?
I think
You're right. You're right. Though. I've gotten 12.
You've gotten this
you might
for
as well
$5?
get this and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, bull fucking shit. I don't believe you.
You know what else
Marvel
ends?
hook, line, sinker us for that epilogue.
You know
Do
what
your
else?
fucking transition.
Go fuck yourself, Garrett. You know what else ends in one issue? Infamous Iron Man number 11 came out this week. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by Alex Maleev, colors by Matt Hollingsworth.
So, what's infamous about this book
Art's
is
good.
that everything is great unless this issue. This issue, poopy pants.
Here's the thing. Also, art was great. Colors are great. That scene when they go to the astral plane, awesome.
Looked really good.
Classic Doctor Strange. In terms of you're right. In terms of the story, it's like
a complete 180. It's like, okay, what the fuck, Marvel? Like, we get into the end of these things, and you're fucking us with your prices and your shitty.
It seems like
whatevers, pants.
right. It seems like that the story was going to have meaning. It was going to be about they see an evil Richards. It's actually the maker. How did they deal with that, knowing that Doom's good now and Reed Richards is bad? Right. It's like a polar reversal. And is what the fuck's his name? The Thing.
Ben Grimm.
Ben Grimm. I was going to call him
Grimstar?
Donnie. Ben Grimm. Donnie Grimm. Ben has to deal with that because he sees that picture of them being like, wow, like he's keeping a picture of us? Like, so then he would realize being like, man, maybe this dude is different now. But then they're like, hey,
You can find anything online.
I tell you what, that I think was the biggest disappointment because either the maker would have been a good option, or like I had got so excited when Reed Richards burst into flame. I think, holy shit, we're getting a Super Skrull.
Yeah.
And it was neither of those two things. It was Mephisto. Who gives a shit?
Doesn't it seem like Mephisto is like the go-to being like, you didn't expect this guy to be involved in the story? Like that Deadpool. Remember he's in that Deadpool?
Yeah.
It's always like the same thing. You made a deal with me, buddy. Like I got to show like.
But he's not even like a fun
That would have been like
surprise.
Dormammu coming in and being like, I'm the fucking entity. Like you
I mean, it
thought.
makes sense.
Dormammu at least would have been fun.
It makes sense whenever they do sorcerer shit, like Mephisto shows up, right? But it also seems like a crutch at this point. It's like, all right, there's other people that can be involved in this kind of shit rather than just Mephisto all the time.
It's another case of no villains. No villains in these fucking books.
Or the villains they choose are shit. No one gives a shit about Mephisto.
They're
I'm going to say it again.
anti-villains.
I really like the last
Dormammu
issue.
in.
Do you guys remember
Bring
the
that
last
Dark
issue?
World. What?
The last issue?
No, when they talked about some cliffhanger that happened with Reed, I was like, what do you say, hi?
I don't. Oh, yeah, when he's in Ben's apartment.
No, it was
But that
with
was a
him and
couple
his mom talking, and then at the end was the. I really liked it. I mean, it was like an issue with a lot of dialogue going back and forth. So, but I liked the way it was played out. And then this was just like I liked the beginning of this, and then at the end it's kind of just like, oh, it's not actually who they think it is. It just for like the sake of having a twist, right?
Going into the last issue.
Dumb question: are they allowed to use Reed and Johnny and Sue?
Yeah,
there's-
They have all those characters.
I didn't
Just
know
not-
if 20th Century Fox still had the rights to.
They have the movie,
do,
rights.
movie
Movies.
rights.
Okay, because that was the thing that bugged me. I thought there's other characters that were better choices than what they chose, and I think this, unfortunately, weakened the whole. Like as an issue, was weak. Whole series has still been good. The art's fantastic. Colors are on point. This issue itself, I'm going to give like a 6.
I'm going to give it a 7
Yeah,
because the
I'll give it a
art was
7.
good. But like this changes the theme of the entire story.
Yes.
This is supposed to be about living up to Iron Man's legacy and like Doom like redeeming himself, and it just turned into fucking event porn.
Whatever happened
Like,
with the seeing Tony Stark as a Sorcerer Supreme?
that was that's like from the future or whatever. I mean, it happened in present time, but he said like it's obviously Tony.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
maybe it's a misspell. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be Steven that he saw.
I don't know, but like going in issue 12, I'm not as excited to be honest. Like I was like when I like this showed its age. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is where we're going.
Well, yeah, it like you said, it changes the tone. I thought the overall theme was going to be about redemption for Doom, but also like Ben's been involved this whole time, and like I said, him seeing how Doom has changed and what you can't judge people by how they always been, because Ryu would come in and be evil and then be like, oh, now he's bad. But it's like I said, like it's and then they're like, oh, it's Mephisto. So like, there's not really a grand story over the
without this book being $4.99 for the last issue, how are you going to jam a new villain into this bad boy and end on a good note with whatever the fuck's going to happen?
Well, say if nothing else, you know what Marvel's theme is? Can't end a book.
They Scott Snyder the shit out.
Pretty much.
I don't really think Ben is going to end a book, because Civil War 2 is the same thing. It was all like at the end, he's just like, oh, let's do something to have a shocking ending.
Wrap it up. Doesn't matter. Let's wrap it up.
Nick Spencer, I feel like that's editorial, but this I feel like it's just Bendis.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
But the rest was good.
Well,
I like his Doom.
His Doom's good, but I didn't like it in this. Like,
we forgot to mention it. The humor in this book annoyed me in this issue specifically, especially Stephen Strange. I was just like, all right, man, when did you turn to Tony Stark? Maybe it was Tony Stark the whole time.
They were beard bros, so maybe he just misses them.
Well, they sure do look a lot alike. So
yeah,
they do. I mean, ever since Jason Aaron's Doctor Strange and that movie was coming out, they've changed Doctor Strange. So I mean, Secret Wars. Ever since Secret Wars Cloud, they're like, the dude's funny now.
Right.
Get his jokes.
Like, his jokes were more like dickish in nature. These were like fucking like.
He thinks he's funny.
He brought up the notebook. He's like, I wonder if they're gonna think this is funny.
These were like dad jokes.
Yeah.
Where he used to be a dick, and like you got humor being like, man, this guy dude is so much of a dick. Like it's hilarious how much of a dick he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's like, hey guys, what was it? Get in the zone, auto zone.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that seems like a joke. My brother's the king of dad jokes. He would have did that joke. I guarantee it.
Oh my god. Well, you know what book was... So those two were both a little lukewarm. But this book, I thought was great. All-Star Batman number 13, written by Scott Snyder, art by Raphael Albuquerque, and colors by Chris Peters. Raphael Albuquerque has been stepping up his fucking Batman game. 100... Like, holy fuck. Like, I didn't... Like, I've liked his art and, like, Huck and everything. I didn't think it was amazing. But, like, in this fucking story, he's taking his time. Huck. No one looks like Huck. No one's got gap tooth. Like, man, the art is just incredible. Story's great too.
And the nice thing this story did is I actually had forgotten that the hotel had gotten destroyed.
Yeah.
And so they spend the first 5 pages falling down this building. It's like, holy shit, it's so good. And I love how Alfred talks about Bruce as his son. I love the family or the father-son dynamic.
I think a lot actually to do with, and I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree, but with the art looking better. I don't think he did the rest of them, but Chris Peter, the colors in this book were really great. And I think because it takes place during the day. And I always like it when Batman is like doing a mission that lasts so long that like it's turning daylight and he's like out in the day now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because you never see Batman out in the day. So he's like riding that motorcycle during the day and all this stuff's happening. You see the sun like coming up, and it allows Chris to do like these colors that like really make it bold and like adventurous. It turns it more into an adventure book rather than just like a Batman action book.
Yeah.
So it really did have like that adventure feel. I really like it too. It's good. I actually think this is probably one of the strongest arcs like from beginning to where it is now. With the Ends of the Earth, I think I liked a couple of those issues.
Not every single
one.
Not
every single
one. I think overall
this one I think is the best one.
Oh, agreed.
As an arc, it's great.
And so Sadness, this was 13, right?
Yep.
I saw that 14th delayed. Like 2 months.
Isn't it 15 the last one?
Yeah.
Hey, but we talk about all the time on the show. Delayed is fine in comic books because that just means they're gonna either get better artists or he's decided, hey, I'm telling the story
Albuquerque.
wrong. But I'm just saying he can. I mean,
you've
seen how much work he's doing in this book.
It looks so good.
He's got a big plan coming out. I think.
I almost bought that variant because it looks so good on that motorcycle.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a great pinup. But
I think I like the background of them fighting in the lightning storm.
Yeah. Where's that guy been? Briar's little bitch. His little sidekick dude.
The first ally?
Yeah.
Is that what he's called, right?
That's what he's called. But where the fuck is he? He hasn't been in the last 2 issues.
He was in this one.
I didn't remember seeing him.
Yeah, he sliced him.
Oh.
At the end.
He was at the end, leaving Batman dead while Briar's talking to Alfred.
By the way,
I read this yesterday, so
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd read it over
my memory is like shoddy on like everything today.
Do you think I was going to ask you, so Batman gets sliced by him Do you think he would be that slow to react? He just
Okay,
turned around.
good.
And
I was going to bring up to you that I feel like Batman is so well attuned to everything. He would have known that attack. I don't know. Wouldn't have known is the right word. I don't know. I think you would have expected to be attacked. You're walking into this big compound. You've been talking to Alfred about this BA bastard. You know that he's going to come.
Especially
and
when he
attack you.
sees people dead in front of him. He sees Briar, and then he's not like on the defensive. Then and then he gets hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, I was just like, wouldn't you be like, oh, where's that first ally at? Rather than just being like, oh, and get sliced, and then now he's on the ground. I just thought it was kind of convenient, but the rest was great.
Yeah.
Alfred in the last page was great. He's gonna show. So like we learn in the flashbacks that Briar was gonna go kill his dad to make it so that Alfred would be more loyal to him and be his first ally. And so the end shows that we've known this whole time that Alfred did something that Briar doesn't like him. And now we see what he did is he's going to go rescue his dad. Right? He's rescuing his dad? Yeah.
Rescuing Briar's dad?
No, Alfred's dad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the last page is him breaking through the wall with the machine. What kind of gun's that, Alex?
I thought his dad died already.
Did he?
I thought it said that because he saw the picture that he killed him. That he said.
Oh, I thought he said he was going to kill him.
Looks like a shotgun.
He's in a big hole in the wall and he's holding a shotgun.
I know that, but like, go, give me this.
Anyway, you asked me about the attack that First Ally does on Batman, which is literally right across his chest plate.
Yeah.
His bat chest plate. There's no way Batman got cut in the chest. Because would be his most protective areas, right? Where his heart and lungs would be. No way did that.
You think he's got armor?
Yeah. Whatever the blood is splurting on the ground,
Yeah.
I don't think is actually Bruce's blood.
Okay.
I think it's a fake blood.
Did you read the backup?
Nope.
I did. Actually, it was pretty good.
The art's good, and I
really like the art in the back, yeah.
I just don't care about reading what the story is.
Yeah, the story's okay. But the art's really good. I really like the art in the backup.
Maybe I don't know yet.
In the backup, he does get attacked the same way. And I was like, the fuck, twice in the same issue? Like, this guy's like... But he's actually getting attacked while the bad guy's like giving him information until he gets what he wants. He's like, all right, see ya. And he like leaves.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are you running away? And it's like, okay, that makes sense that Bruce would act like some possum, like playing dead until he got what he wanted for them. And they was like, oh, actually not really that hurt. And he took off. And maybe he do the same thing here. Maybe we won't see it. Maybe he actually did pass on the ground, but he's still like good.
Right.
But but that was the only contention I had. The rest was great.
Yeah.
Like you said, the art is like 10 out of 10. It's so good.
Yeah.
With the colors and Raphael Albuquerque. It's just, and the way the paneling, a lot of those action scenes, like the motorcycle scene, was just so like
it's very smooth and fluid.
bold.
I give it a
adventurous,
9.
Yeah.
Dumb
Absolutely.
question. Are Penguin, Hush, and Black Mask dead in the van?
No, they're alive.
Okay.
Dead forever. No, they were talking.
Yeah.
Were they talking? Oh, they were. Okay.
They're just like, hey, watch out behind you.
Oh, that's right. They warned him.
And he was saying like
First ally, watch out.
it kind of skipped like Alfred's dialogue and went to like Batman like doing that Tommy Elliott like joke like you wouldn't that aren't you right Tommy or whatever the fuck he says. And that kind of took me out for like 2 seconds and I get like why they had to do that to confirm that they're alive still.
Yeah,
So I was like
just to be like,
whoa.
hey, they're still alive.
Right. That's the only part I wasn't too fond of.
You know,
to, like, change
there's
perspectives real
I think Hush is one of my least favorite Batman villains. It used to be one of my favorites.
Well, they haven't done anything with him since
But I
Jeff
think,
Loeb. So.
well, yeah. So there's the well, not even that. They did. Detective had the
No, they have.
heart thing.
But nothing like groundbreaking.
But that's the thing is like Hush never gets used for anything really awesome other
Yeah.
than Hush.
What was that storyline? Did you read that? Like Heart of Hush, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that's
some
That's the
detective.
sequel. That's good. That's what I mean. Like that. Those two were like the last good runs of Hush being the main villain.
Otherwise, he gets filled in as dumb shits.
Well, yeah, he's been like an ally kind of, but now he's not. I don't know.
I don't know.
First ally. No, not
Not
really.
the first
I
ally.
give it a 9 too. Solid.
9, yeah.
Solid. What do you give it, Alex?
You know, I think I will give it a 9 because I thought that art from Albuquerque was on point all the time.
Daily Class number 30, written by Rick Remender, art by Wes Craig, colors by Jordan Boyd. This is an issue. They're taking a road trip to Mexico because, what's his name? Quan?
Quan.
Come on.
Wants to find Marcus and Maria. And he's been told by, what's the bad guy's name?
Victor?
No. What's somebody else?
The Russian?
Petra?
No, there's
No,
it was
Kenji.
Kenji.
Yeah.
Kenji told him to go find him. So he's going down there to find them. Victor is following them because he wants to kill them.
Who's Kenji?
That's Saya's brother.
Oh, okay.
Older
Okay.
brother,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. From the Yakuza.
They talk
You don't
about
read the beginning page, do you? That goes like the previously on. Do you read that?
Not usually. Not in this book. I don't normally because I normally know what's going on.
Right.
Hey, wait a second. I'll ask you in a second. I just realized I read a book that I thought we were talking about tonight, and we're not talking about it.
Black Magic. No.
Yeah. Okay. You know why I was going to say that?
Bonus.
Here, it's not really spoilers, but 2-second spoilers if you really care. Did you read Black Magic?
No, I hadn't read one.
Oh, you haven't read any of them. The last page is a prose, like the whole page, because the last actual comic page is them looking at a book, and then it tells you the page from the book. And when I was reading, I was like, I guarantee you, Alex didn't read that last page.
Oh no, I didn't buy it.
Oh, Oh, that's right. Right.
So
Damaged.
Damage copy.
So they're going down to Mexico, and they actually run into Marcus and Maria getting passports, fake passports. It's kind of like, God, what was I thinking of? There's some movie where that happens too, where like they're looking for somebody, they run into them in public, and then a chase ensues.
That seems like a lot of action movies.
Yeah,
to be
okay.
honest. I can't narrow it down now that we're thinking about it, but like it's just convenient that they run into each other.
I really like the issue though. I thought it was fun, and then
I felt the tension in the car.
There's a lot of tension in the car. That's what you're right. That's what it says. There's a lot of tension in the car, and then they stop at McDonald's. Which, by the way, I was like, whoa, they're actually going to talk about it like because a lot of times they make up fake restaurants,
Legitimate food place.
So now it's actually a legitimate McDonald's, and they talk about the food being like, nah, McNuggets are better than the
fish
filet
fillets.
fish. Yeah, fish fillet.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
And then you hear that Helmut drop some major shit.
And then you see a sniper scope, and it's Victor. And then there's tension with them talking in the restaurant, but then also because Victor's going to kill them. And then they go, hey, I'm not going to get in the car with Quan. You have to. No, Quan says, I'm going to get in the car with, what's the other guy's name?
It's Tamari. It's
something. Yeah,
it's
something
T.
like that.
I've been calling him T because I can't say his
He
name.
said, I'm
right.
not going to get in the car with him, so either he walks or I walk. And then they decide to go talk out at the playground. And even during that scene, I was like, fuck, one of them's going to die.
Yeah.
Like, one of them's going to die.
I thought there's a sniper bullet coming towards one of them.
Yeah, or he's going to pop out of the slide. And like, I thought that's what it was. So he slides on the slide and he gets shit all over him because somebody pooped in the slide. And I thought it was blood. And I was like, oh shit, somebody's dead in there already. So there's a lot of tension. And then when that scene with Marcus, when Quan's on the phone, no,
Marcus is on the phone.
Marcus on the phone, and Quan is walking in there, and he hears, "Hey, we need a passport for Marcus and Maria." He turns around, looks at the picture. That scene was really tense because I was like, "Is he just gonna?" Oh, he brought out a blackjack to knock him out.
Holy shit! I'm so impressed. You know the name of that?
Why?
Just it blew my mind.
21. And he goes up to knock him out, and he turns around because Maria screams. Oh, he runs to Maria because Maria screams, and he points the gun, and she's actually screaming because she sees Petra. And then, so now we have a reunion.
Dude, his facial expression though when he sees Petra, like he doesn't know that she killed Billy because they say that in the previously on. But like, I don't know if that was like Wesley Craig just being like, I'm gonna give him a little anger anyways.
Well, I think he's also like doesn't know how to react because are they going to give away that he's there? Are they going to now is everything fucked? Are they actually going to get away with this? So it's kind of like a look of concern, being like, I'm not sure if we're safe anymore.
But her face, Petra's face of, oh shit.
Yeah, Petra knows. Like,
He's seen me.
you can read her face being like, okay, how am I going to get out of this? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is, did you guys read the letters page? I know you did. You probably didn't. Rick Remender said the next issue is going to be so big. But if you think about it, Victor's following this group of kids. These group of kids are going to Mexico to find Marcus and Maria. So there's going to be this fucking giant... Oh, fuck.
It's going to be the
I
showdown
can't wait
in
to see
Mexico.
Victor's face when he sees Marcus and Maria. I'm going to be like...
It's going to be...
I took a second look because when you see Quan is walking towards the whatever station they were at, and I saw this. Oh my god, I think that might be Marcus. Turn the next page, find out it's Marcus. Oh my god, shit is gonna happen.
It is. It's going to be a Mexican
so good.
standoff. Literally,
Yeah.
there's going to be 3 of them pointing guns at each other, and who's going to get out?
Well, he did say that someone's going to get revenge. That's what it
Somebody
said.
will probably die, and then the next issue after that, there's a time jump, right? Is that
I don't
what
know if
it
he said time jump. I know that he said they're taking a break.
Oh no, this issue there was a time jump because
Yeah.
they talk about. For the longest time, I thought I missed an issue because they talk about the pep rally. About how they got jumped.
I got confused. I don't remember the fight. I remember is in the streets.
Yeah, in the letter columns, he says, "What really happened at the pep rally?" So I was like, oh, "Okay, we don't know."
Yeah.
They talk about getting jumped at the pep rally. That's why they're all beaten up, and that's why they decided to go on a road trip to get away from it all. So we might get an issue seeing what happened at Pep Rally, or we might have just skipped forward for no reason. Like, I know no reason, but just to get to this point,
Right.
be like, okay.
I'm so excited for 31.
Did you see the cover for the next one
No,
at the back end, or do you have Deadly Class here?
Yeah, it's right here.
it's in the stack.
Look at that cover for the next issue.
The thing I remember seeing is a puppy.
I like this cover a lot too.
That
We
cover's
talked about it on the forecast, but
Yeah, that was okay. I mean,
Really? Oh man, this
that cover though looks fucking amazing.
Sorry.
I do like a lot of and I know I was thinking the whole time maybe a little too much music talk for Garrett, but
Yeah, that part I
In the
was
car.
I was about ready to get this bad boy a
but they're-
6 until it
but
picked
they're
up.
fucking kids, and that's what like in the 80s and
I
they
know.
like music. That's what they're going to talk about.
Yeah,
But then they start talking about like racism and like how you judge people and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, these kids. I mean, at the ages they are, that's kind of the things they're talking about. They're trying to talk about deeper stuff. And then they talk about McNuggets. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, what are we talking about here?
yeah. I had what you were talking about last time. Going in my head when I was reading this part. I was like, just keep reading.
I liked a lot of that because it, like Alex said, like it sets up like we know that there's assassins, but they're also just kids.
Yeah,
But like if one of them does have an argument on some like minor shit, like if he doesn't agree with his music and he really is that angsty of a kid, he could kill him. We don't know. So there is tension still over a fight over what is really considered good music. So like the whole time too, I'm like, I don't know, like that guy might snap. We already know that they don't like him. They just brought him along for what reason? They just were like, hey, bring
I
him
think it was
along.
his idea.
no, it was
feels lonely.
Enzale's idea.
Yeah,
Oh, and she told him to bring
Yeah,
him.
because she felt bad for him, but they don't like him. He obviously doesn't like them. And then we find out he's just like, hey, I just like for some reason I always feel like I got to be the loner. That's why I want to alienate you guys. And they had an understanding. So I think they're cool now. But we know that Quan is actually fucking
Double
him
agent
over.
stack, yes.
Yeah.
So, God, this book is so good. It's like whenever I read an issue of this book, like the whole thing is good, right? So when I get an issue, I'm always like, oh, like I get pumped, but also I feel bad. I can't read the next one right away.
I know.
See,
you get
this
a fix, but you don't get the whole.
You don't get the whole
fucking-
thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like a little high for a little bit. Then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, buddy, where's the next one? And like, did you say it was delayed? No, you were talking
No.
about.
Next issue's going to come out on time, but then the issue after that,
There's
I
a
think
break.
he's gonna break.
There's a
coming
break
up.
again. So like,
It's going to be a huge issue. 'Cause he only does breaks on cliffhangers.
I think
Huge
it was 2 years ago. I read East of West from issue 1 to whatever the current issue was, like 17, 18. So good all the way through. I read Lazarus 1 through 14 or whatever it was. So good all the way through. I think Deadly Class is one of those books. Eventually, I'm going to go through and just read it all.
That's
and
what
catch
I
up.
did, and it was
that's the
fucking
thing. I'm
great.
jealous of you. You get to enjoy it
Oh.
all in one read.
It was like binge watching Breaking Bad for the first time.
So-
Oh, baby.
it is once again. If you're hearing this, and you're not reading this series, go and get it.
Oh, what do you guys rate it?
I'll
I'm going to give it a 9, just because
give it a 10. I liked it.
the fucking music history.
He didn't like
class in
the
middle of the
music
book.
history class. I didn't like it a lot. I mean, these kids are.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna. I agreed that a 9 is a good score for it, but I am gonna actually go with the 10. For the end of it was great.
Mm-hmm.
The facial features on Petra was like, oh shit, I know shit's gonna go down.
I'm gonna give it a 10 based on what you said.
And
A lot
even
of tension.
and I was
You're right though. Like that's what I was feeling the whole time. I couldn't really nail it until you said that.
Well, and that I hadn't decided it was a 10 until I just said it to you guys now. That I was like, there's a lot of tension in this book, building into
Little moments like
some shit
slides down a shit tube.
which I totally
was the whole
thought
time like,
was
he's gonna
Victor had sniped T on the way down,
Yeah.
and Blood
At the
had
top, yeah.
matched onto Quan's hands. With, oh shit! Then it turns out it's actually crap.
Literally. Down somebody's shit down a tube.
Which is a lot of shit to go down that tube.
You know what else is shit? No, I'm kidding.
Oh. So you know what else we got?
Yeah.
Saga number 46, written by Brian K. Vaughan and art by Fiona Staples.
It's
It's underneath you right there.
I know, but I was looking, I had 42 up here. Oh, you put it over there.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about that with Garrett before we started. So you can put it over there. I was just curious where it went.
Oh, I moved over
this.
here.
42, yeah. 46, right?
Yes.
So we in 42, Alana's unborn child, she has a miscarriage.
She gets shaken up during takeoff
Yeah. So we
and
learned
falls.
that she had a miscarriage. The baby's dead inside of her. She needs to get it out because it's killing her. But while she has it in her, she's able to do magic because that race can do. What's the race called?
Which one?
The Horns?
Marcos? Is it the Weavers?
Yeah, maybe.
I think they're from the moon. Oh, I can't. Honestly, I don't remember what their name is.
43 is over there. It tells you right at the beginning. The one with the horse in the cover. Yeah, well, anyway, so she needs to get it out. She tried to go to abortion land, but they don't. She's in the third trimester, so they're not going to touch her. So he's like, hey, by the way, there's a back alley guy you can go to.
This is in 43?
Yeah, just move forward a little bit. It's after that first scene. They're going to a back alley doctor, and the back alley doctor is some wolf that has blood all over his hands. And
so it's Weave is the moon, and that's where they're Moonies.
Oh, Moonies, that's right. She's going to get an abortion or get the baby out of her. But she is currently using the power to project what her son would look like if he was born and the same age as their daughter.
Yep.
His name is
he calls himself Cootie or Cutie. Cootie?
No.
Curdy.
Just like the
little
her
ferret
friend.
guy.
Yeah. R.I.P. My favorite dead.
He's your favorite?
Yeah, that was the part that really shook me up in that issue.
Oh, really?
Dude, see how that issue ends, number 42? When it cuts to black and the last like 5 pages are black? That's what I was going to show Garrett. Being like, dude, look at this guy died. And like, he has to give you 5 pages of black to be like, sink it in, buddy.
Yep.
Like, this guy's lost in the darkness forever. They go there. He says, hey, we're going to do this abortion. So she's going to have an abortion. It's really an issue. And you can, like, they don't show it happening. They show, it's Curdy and what's the daughter's name?
Hazel,
that's right. Hazel and Curdy like talking, and he's like, am I really gonna die? And she's like, well, you're not really alive, but I guess technically you're gonna fade away. And he goes, well, can you sing me a song? She's like, I'm not really a good singer. She goes, well, I know. She goes, do you know lullaby? She goes, I know this one lullaby. She starts singing it to him, and he's like, oh, that's a good song, you should be a singer. And he goes, no, my parents say I'll probably be a doctor. My parents don't want me to be a singer. And he's like, no, you're a good singer. You're going to be a singer. And like, he just fades away. It was the most fucking depressing thing I read all night. Yeah. He just fades away and says, cause he's like afraid to die. So she's singing to him. And he's just like, he's not real. Like this fucking dude is not real. But he's like, she's never going to have that brother.
Yeah.
And, he just fades away. And also it was a nice way of showing like that she was having this abortion without actually showing it and being like, not that I care, but still, but it was nice.
You know what? It never really occurred to me that Hazel and him talking is the wolf doctor.
Yeah, while they're doing the procedure.
Taking her out. That didn't occur to me.
Because once he was out of her, then she would lose all the magic and she would go away.
Huh.
So that's how that story ends. Very depressing. But also like a very nice way of showing that. I didn't really actually really get choked up at that part. Mainly because he's like a little kid, a little boy, and I have a son. So I was just like, God damn it.
Put it on the list, Al.
Put it on the list. 42 and 46.
What are we at? Like 15 issues? I think Marvin crying now.
I told you it's been a year of tears. There also is another story going on. We have Prince Robot and
Petrichor.
Yeah, she got rescued because these I'll say cowboys like roped her up because they're like, hey, what happened? You should be somebody else. Like, do they have money and all this stuff like that? And he saves her. And then they're kind of like getting drunk and arguing. And he tells her, he goes, hey, I know you're transgender. And she goes, who told you? She goes, I just know. He goes, I'm actually kind of fluid too.
I like his way of showing it to her. There's the half man, half girl on his screen.
He goes, I'm actually kind of sexually fluid too. So and she's like, oh, okay. And they argue. And at the end,
they make out.
New couple. Prince Robot.
I never noticed that he can make his hand do whatever he wants because he makes a teacup out of it. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But he makes
he can make the gun, I get, and he can make a hand.
I always assumed that he had a gun.
Yeah.
And like the gun could change the thing. I didn't realize that like he could morph.
His hand is like Mega Man's.
But I think that was nice. I mean, it's two characters who I never thought would be together, but it's nice seeing them get together.
Right when they started yelling, I thought, I know what this turn page is going to be.
It's like Han and Leia. Yeah. They don't
So-
like each other. Yeah, guess what they do?
I give this a 10.
Yeah,
and honestly, you spelling out what had happened with Curdy fading away, I have to give a nod. That was a really good way to do it.
I say it every single time it comes out. And when we, like I said, when we used to do the written reviews, I said every time it came out. I cannot say enough how great Fiona Staples is. Like every issue was like, I've run out of adjectives. I've run out of ways to say that she's amazing. This issue also, like, great job. And also, I guess hearing from what Brent K. Vaughan said in the last issue in the letter pages, he actually gives her like free reign doing like all the character designs. I don't guess he mustn't have like any kind of input. He's like, hey, I want this kind of person, and she just makes it. Because that wolf character, he's like, take a look at Fiona's creation. Like, let's just stare at that last page for a second. Because the last page, she's there with the bloody hands and like all her
then
breasts.
45, yeah.
Yeah. I think
teats.
this one, along with the last arc that ended in 42, have been the two strongest issues of Saga since the beginning.
Agreed.
Because for a while, I was like, hey, it's good, but like nothing really, like I don't really get surprised.
I think I was telling you, if not, the first like 13, 14 issues, amazing as a whole story.
Yeah.
And then you get into all the other odds and ends that are going on in their lives. It's like, they're good.
The first arc is like 10 out of 10 every issue. And then, or
but since they get on Fang, but when they get to Fang,
then it's just like 8, 9. It's not bad, but it's like we're 8 and 9. And this last, probably 7 issues, right?
I guess for me, it's
46?
It's personally from, I think it's issue 36 when they get on Fang.
That's right.
And they meet the family of ferrets.
So the last 10 issues have been like 10 out of 10, like every time. And something happens at every issue that I'm like, God damn, this book's so good.
Because there's a character that she talks about that died in issue 37 or 38. I can't remember which one. Isabel.
Yeah.
And that was still one of my favorite characters.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. So like a lot happened on that planet. We even had like, quote unquote, an event, that war that lasted 2 issues.
Yep.
But it still was like, for this kind of book, it really does not what they do. Yeah, it's been great the last 10 issues. I don't know, like, I think it's so easy for them to understand these characters now that they're just telling a good story.
Yep.
Like, they don't have to worry about trying to get the characters right. They know what they are now.
Like I've already read it as a full series. I'm caught up now. I almost want to go back again and read the whole thing because it lives up to its title.
On this
of
cover
Saga.
here, you think this is a Game Boy SP?
That's
what
it
I
looks
was
like.
going to say. I saw the
And I thought all the tools were forming letters because this looked like an A up here, but it doesn't. It just looks like
I believe, I would have to, don't quote me on this, but I think there's one more issue and then there's a break. Because the 42, there was a break after 42.
Yep.
So 43, no, there should be
2
like
more.
5. So up to 48, yeah. 2 more. But like, he talked about it here, book 2 is out that collects up to 36. So you literally could get 2 hardcovers and become 36. Yeah. And then find the issues or get a trade and catch up. But this would be in my top 5 now.
I think like when you were telling me earlier that it was, it's still good, but it's not top-notch material. Holy shit, this book is so good. And after the last arc and a half has been just amazing. Like they're taking real life situations, real life things. And I was like, oh my God, I tie in. I can feel that. I can feel the pain and suffering.
R.I.P. Curdy. Twice. They took him twice.
You know what's not blown up? Wonder Woman and Etta's relationship in Wonder Woman number 29, written by Shea Fontana, art by Inaki Miranda, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr.
Holy shit,
Wow.
you got him. I give you that book because I didn't think you'd get those names. You nailed it.
Nailed it.
By the way, all the compliment I ever could get in his life. On record. How did you like, because there's only one thing when I read this issue, I was like, I gotta ask Garrett right away how they explained was like, Etta, I thought you didn't hate her. And she's like, we made up.
I feel like they've been listening to our show.
That's how I felt whenever
I was like, hey, we better cover this. Otherwise, we're going to get some more fan backlash. And you know what? Not fucking good enough. That's all I'll say right here is,
like I said, I don't mind.
yeah.
I know you guys
That's
want
bullshit.
some sort of revelation.
Like 3 panels before, she's like side hugging her, like, we're best friends. Next one, what happened to you in Wonder Woman? Gotta
Made
do what
up.
I gotta fucking do.
We
But
made
no,
up.
she was just asking, like, hey, I've seen you guys been friends the last couple of issues. What happened? And she's like, we're good.
Cheetah's not around.
She said we're good. Yeah.
This issue itself for
That was my ankle, sorry.
fighting and everything, and it was okay. I didn't think that the villain squad, I thought they were all lame.
All
villains.
decast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the point. Yeah.
That's true.
They were all
But
just trying to get money.
And then
Mercenaries.
But to be fair, Deathstroke and Deadshot are too busy blowing up the shit out of Gotham right now. I guess it's
it's
years
over
before.
already. Yeah.
So
I told Alex I noticed the last couple issues, each issue has a different artist. And this one was okay. I like the last two better, but Alex was pointing out a couple panels that like had really good layouts, and I agree. Like the fight panels were really good and stuff like that.
I like Steve's role in it. I thought Steve was a good additive to
I really
it.
like the story. I mean, it's
very simple.
It's very like the whole time I'm reading this whole arc, I'm thinking people who saw that movie, like this would be an amazing place to just start.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like you don't have to know a lot. A lot of it is having to do like reiterating what they saw in the movie, like the flashbacks. And I think it's on purpose to be like, hey, you just saw the movie? A lot of people saw the movie. It's number one movie this year. Go read this book.
Yeah. And there's a lot of heavy ads for the next arc coming in, which is also going to be probably something similar that you don't need to know Greg Rucka's run to know what's going on.
People are complaining about what the concept is for the next arc, but I'll give it a chance.
What's the concept?
It's about Wonder Woman's lost brother.
Oh, yeah. That's been a thread that needs to be cinched off since
people were like, why do we like, they're more worried that it's going to become like about, oh, she has a brother too, like, and make a story about her brother.
I think they just need to make reference to it and wrap it up and be done.
Yeah, I hope it's not that long. It's just like,
this is. I think I would like this arc more if the art was a little better. The art was fine, but it's not as
what was your
visually appealing.
What didn't you like about the art?
What didn't I like? There's
told me one.
There's one panel that has Wonder Woman's nose just looking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it bugged the shit out of me. It still bugs the shit out of me.
This is the panel he hates.
Yep.
Just got a pig nose.
I think because it's the lighting, like you said, the lighting or the shading is wrong. It's just bugged me.
I think the best part of these last 3 issues have been the flashback scenes.
Yes.
Like I think those are the strongest.
Her as a child is good.
Because it like ties into who she is as a character, whereas like the action scenes, it's so surface that I'm just like, I can't connect.
I did like the end
what
though.
she's-
Like she basically says, "Oh, who's behind all of this?" It's some guy who wants me either dead or alive to use my blood to save people. And she's like, "Well, I'll just go to him and offer him my blood. We could just get a cure." Like, and he's like, "What if he kills you?" And he's like, She's like, "I put my life on the line all the time to save one kid. So if I can go out there and if he kills me and I save all these kids," she goes, "It's worth it." Yep. And she goes there, and I was just like, "Okay, that's who she is." And she even says, "It was at the last issue. When was the issue where that lady basically hulked up from her blood?"
2 issues ago.
And she was like, she goes, "I'm exactly like you." She goes, "You're not, because I don't use my power just to basically use it as strength." She goes, "I use it to protect people and all this. Like, this is not the whole reason I have those powers. You don't know how to control it. It's going to," and she took it away from her and she died. Or was it this issue she went to her grave? Last one. She went to her grave one of the 2 issues. And she was like, "Yeah, she died." Like, and I think that's a good point, being like, she could have saved her too. But she didn't. And now she's like, if I can save these kids, I'm going to go save these kids. If I die or not.
I think the general in this book is a joke. Keeps telling them, "You can't go do that." "Well, I'm gonna." "Oh, okay." It's like, dude, stand up a little bit more.
Permission to leave? Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Bye.
You can do what you want.
He does seem a little out of place. Like, why is he in the story? Just to have somebody say,
Probably
no.
like a military connection, just to be like, oh, Steve's still military, you know?
Even though he reminds us every other panel.
Oh, look at the back. There you go. Perfect blend of action, heart, and humor.
I give it a 7.
I give it
The
8.
movie or this
I like
book? I think I'll give the book a 7.
The movie's a 10.
Of course.
It includes a bonus scene not seen in theaters.
I thought that was coming out, but I was looking at the digital date, not the release in September for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you've watched Wonder Woman and you're trying to get into her, I see you could pick this up and see where you would know what was happening without having to know too much about Wonder Woman. And by the way, stay tuned to the next part. We'll talk about that in a second. Those are the books we reviewed this week. We have the critically acclaimed Secret Empire number 10, the Deadly Class number 30, All-Star Batman number 13, Wonder Woman number 29, Saga number 46, and what was that last book?
Infamous Iron Man.
Infamous Iron Man number 11. Pick those books up at RainbowComicsandCards.com if you live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or Lincoln, Nebraska.
I don't know why I looked.
Or online at RainbowComicsandCards.com. What you can talk about next, our feature today is, because I talked to these guys, like the last 2 weeks we've been saying it's so hard for people to get into books, like what's going on. Is that a new fan? Talking about it's so hard to get into comics. How do you help new people? Is the market really helping new people? Is Marvel helping new people? Is DC helping new people? Or comic book shops
What do you mean by you people?
helping new people? I said
You
get
mean by
into
you
comics.
people.
Why aren't more people getting into comics from this movie? So we decided that today we would answer all your questions. Feel free. I thought about this, and I think I might release this as a separate video on YouTube. I'll cut out this part specifically. Share it a lot, post it, and somebody you want to get into comics, and be like, hey, here's a little quick thing about the way you can get into comics. They're going to explain it for you. We're going to explain how it all works. So break out my little thing.
Pony? Poopy pants?
So what I did is there's some questions that I see a lot about people ask when they want to get into comics. We'll start with that first, and then at the end here we're going to give you some recommendations on where to start for superhero stuff, or if you just want to read comic books in general, other stuff that maybe you would be interested in if you're not interested in the capes and cows.
I heard capes and cows.
Capes and cows.
Love me some bat cow.
First question I hear a lot of times people ask, how do I get up to speed with ongoing series? Like, how do I know what is going on in comic books?
It's a fair question.
You read issue 1 and you catch up to where it's at. I'm kidding.
That's a lot of things. A lot of time people see Detective Comics 68?
Yeah.
968, and they're like, whoa, I got to read 968 comics? First, no.
Absolutely not.
No,
Even I say no to that.
You don't have to. I would check. Here's the general rule. It doesn't happen all the time. General rule: superheroes, if it's Marvel, DC, just start reading that in arc. If it's something that's Image, maybe you have to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Possibly. I would say, think about it this way: you're not going to try to get into like football and be like, do you have to go back to when football started and start watching it? No, just start when the season starts.
Start when the season. Agreed.
But if you're going to start like a lot of Image or like independent comics, if it's a contained story, Deadly Class, for instance, a lot of times it's kind of like, do I start Breaking Bad at season 6? No, go back to the beginning. Because that's a full contained story. You need the ramp up and all that stuff. I guess you could start Breaking Bad at season 6, but then you'd be like, what the fuck? You wouldn't.
That'd be the worst show ever.
There would be no impact to where he is now. And I think in that too, like a lot of those moments in Deadly Class 30 have no impact if you don't know the whole story. So start at an arc, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how you feed your collection is you go in there and you're like, oh, where did this part why doesn't this make sense? And the things that don't make sense, usually on a new arc, I mean, they'll explain it to you barely, but enough that you could be like, hey, maybe I can go back in the future and I'll read that.
That's the thing too.
Yeah.
If you get confused, don't get discouraged.
Just keep reading.
Hell, sometimes I get confused with what the hell they're talking about or what's going on. And I would have read that story and I would be like, okay, I don't remember that, but we'll go with it. So a lot of times, and I think we've talked about this before, me and Garrett, Wikipedia. Look it up.
Yeah,
so you can look
a lot of the history. I mean, it's out there. If you want to really know what the hell is going on, do some research, and the major plot points they'll cover.
If you're reading All-Star Batman and Alfred's talking about all this history and stuff again, you're like, oh, well, who is Alfred? Look up Alfred and read his history.
Yeah.
If you're really that interested in it. To be fair, though, like a lot of times you don't really need to know. Like you said, there's enough clues so you'll get the story. You don't have to know every little thing that happens.
Right.
Well, and you bring up the Alfred scene. This story is just taking place now in the last 3 issues.
Yeah.
So we didn't know this stuff beforehand. You learned it in the book. It's part of the arc. Again, hop on the arc.
I feel like also a lot of people think that they need to know a lot about something before they start reading it. Like they need to know every single Batman thing so that when they read it, they're like, okay, I'm not going to get confused. No, just start reading.
Yeah, there's still
That's the
things
only
I
way it's
don't know
gonna
about
happen.
Batman. And I've been reading comics for like 15 years now. Like you're never going to know everything 100%, ever. You just need to enjoy what you do know about a character and further that knowledge, but you'll never 100% know every single thing.
So I'm thinking that a lot of people are probably asking, well, how do I know it's the beginning of an arc? So a lot of times, especially DC's really good about this. At the top of the books, it'll say what the arc is called. Find the one that is the first one or called part 1. A lot of times you can go to either the websites directly, DC Comics, Marvel, and it'll tell you what the issue is about. Just find the one that's called Part 1 and start there.
And Marvel even helps you out better. They just renumber the whole series to number 1. So you know exactly
they do that, and that's a good thing too, but a lot of times
they're going to stop that now with Legacy.
Yeah, don't be. Yeah, that's going to get confusing a little bit. So don't be discouraged by that. Also, just look at what the story's called and go by that.
Sorry, that's me poking at Marvel again.
But I mean, even if you're going to go back and read old Marvel stuff, if you start at number 1, just realize it's not number 1. The rest doesn't matter for Marvel. It means number 1. There is stuff before that. They just renumber it. Numbering is very confusing. Try not to think about the number at the top of the comic. Just think about what the story is called.
Think about like the run, maybe.
Yeah.
Because usually an arc or multiple arcs even are a creative team. And if that creative team leaves, that's usually when a new arc starts.
Understand that also. Like when you read Detective Comics 968, James Tynion is the writer. James Tynion has not read 1,000 issues of Detective Comics. I mean, he's probably done a lot of research, but
probably on the internet. It's not because you read it.
Yeah.
But that pressure DC gives him stuff. But understand, like, the writer doesn't know everything either. And I see a lot of times people online be like, well, actually,
like
in this issue, and then they'll be like, oh, I haven't read that yet. So, like, they haven't read everything, so you don't need to read everything. Just read their story. They're telling you a story, and like Garrett said, every once in a while, you'll see a little box, and it might say editor's note, and that's just being like, hey, by the way, the editor's just trying to say this is kind of important.
This is piquing your curiosity.
If you really want to know what happened, this is what issue it happened in.
I think the big takeaway is just read.
Yeah,
just start somewhere and keep reading it.
Yeah.
If you like the art, if you like the story, stick with it. Eventually, your confusion of what's going on will be somebody else's confusion later on.
I think the big thing for the three of us is that we have the three of us to talk to. So if there's a confusing thing for me, you might know, or he might know, or I might know.
You can go online. There's a lot of good communities online that talk about comics. Go on Twitter, talk about comics. There's a lot of... The community is very great. Like, even if just doing the show, we've met a lot of people who are like, do their own kind of shows or like talking about comics, and they'll help you out. I've never met anybody who's into comics and you're trying to get into it that it'll be like, will shut you down and be like, oh, no, I'm not going to tell you anything. Usually they're like, okay, here's some good stuff to read. Image comics, a lot of image comics, or you read something that you think maybe is not, like I said, not DC, Marvel. And there is actually a beginning. You probably have to go back to number 1.
But they make their trades very accessible.
That's what I was going to say.
Price, accessibility, like their price is low. So, I mean, if you want to pay for it.
Let's talk about Floppy's monthly comics versus trades. If you are trying to get into image comics, I would say trades. Go into trades. Especially, there's this weird thing in comics, and this is something, if you're not into the collecting part of it, don't feel bad also. I'm not really into that. These guys are, but so there's two different sides to it. If you just read the stories, just get the trades. And a lot of those image comics number 1s are very hard to find. So I wouldn't kill your bank account looking for a number 1.
Unless you're Alex.
Unless you're Pastrallo, looking for that Saga number 1. Go find a trade. Like you said, image, the first one, they make it cheaper. And then after that,
you do pay a little extra, but think again. They gave you a cheap first
overall.
Let's say by then, though, you're either invested or you're not going to get it.
Usually there's 5 to 6 issues within the trade. If you really think about it, you would have paid $18, but usually it's 15. So you save $3. It also is very easy to know what's the beginning, because it'll be called volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just read it through. Every once in a while, they'll release a hardcover that's a deluxe, and it has usually more issues in it. Right. For instance, the Deadly Class one, I think the first book has 1 through 16. So you get a few trades in there.
I think the hardest thing for a new reader is understanding if you do go monthly with your books, how that schedule comes out. And the only thing I can tell you is go on previewsworld.com. That's your Bible to figuring out what comes out. I mean, I remember in my early days, you could go look at the printout list and be like, oh, so they tell you everything that comes out, and you could remember that I'm getting this book. But Previews World, I mean, that's the official distributor of the comics. So understand, that was the most confusing thing for me when I started collecting comics, because you brought it up before. It's how do I fucking know what's coming out and when? I never know if the second issue's ever going to come out.
DC does a nice thing on their YouTube page. If you subscribe to them, they every week release a video being here are the comics that come out this week. and they're just like, they show the covers being like, here's everything coming out this Wednesday. So you can also subscribe to them on YouTube and watch that video. You can, I would say, any comic book shop would tell you if you want to contact them, like, hey, what is this book coming out this week? I guarantee you they would tell you. You can also, something if you want to get a little bit more deep into it, set up a pull list. If you set up a pull list, you say, hey, I want to get Batman. I want to get Detective Comics. They'll pull the issues for you when they come out. And then you can just go on Previous World and be like, okay, did it come out this week? And if it did, they pulled it for you already. Go on there on Wednesday. It's probably in a box they set aside for you.
Yeah.
When you get into trades for superhero stuff, it gets a little confusing. I'll give it that. Now, so there's some things that are in continuity. And for those, I would see if you really want to, like I said, you probably could read any of them and just get what's going on. There are some things, though, that are considered non-canon. And I wouldn't worry too much if it's something's considered canon or not. But there are some things, if you're going to read it, just understand that like it's like a different kind of story. Superman Red Sun is like an Elseworlds tale. It doesn't actually take place in the main DC story. It's just a what if Superman landed in Russia instead of America. Batman the Dark Knight takes place in the future, but it's not really considered canon. Is that true? Right? That's not really considered canon. It's
more Millerverse.
It's more like what could happen in the future.
Right. Whereas
like something like Batman Year One, that actually wasn't a Detective Comics. It's called Batman Year One, but it actually was issues of Detective. That's self-contained. You can read that. That's fine.
Even though Dark Knight Returns is the technical sequel to Year One, but yeah, it's very loose.
Is it?
I don't think so.
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that.
Frank Miller made Year One after he made Dark Knight Returns to reflect Dark Knight Returns.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
There's certain books also like Marvel has these season 1 books that are on their own. You can get those. DC has these Earth 1 books that are on their own. They're in a different universe. So, I mean, it might get confusing. Once again, Wikipedia, go online, just say, hey, type in the book, and it'll tell you. It usually will say, this Superman Red Sun is an Elseworlds tale. That means it's not in the main continuity. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter. You can read the story and be like, oh, this is good. Don't really think Pastrana style and be like, where does this fit in, though? Like, where's Ben?
Yeah.
I mean, he can think about it because he can play. Once you get advanced enough, you'll be like, okay, you can start asking those questions, but don't bog yourself too much. Yourself too much at the beginning, being like, how does this fit though? Like, I understand where this is.
That'll never work.
Read the story.
Yeah, read the synopsis. If it interests you, read it. If it doesn't, whatever. Because there's basically 75 to 80 years worth of history for most of these comic characters. A little less than some others, but you're never going to be able to exactly define the edges of each person's history. It's always going to be a little blurred.
Where can somebody legally find digital comics? Comixology.
Comixology is one. You can go to the big two. You can go DC or Marvel. You can buy them right off their.
They have their own apps. You can get those, but they run through Comixology anyway. So if you want to do that.
Amazon also bought Comixology, so you can go through it.
Here's a little tip for you, and I'll let everybody else know that. Since that's true, Comixology and Amazon usually though don't have the same prices. If you go to Amazon, a lot of times it's cheaper. I've done it before where it's like $15 for this trade on Comixology. You go to Amazon, it's like 12 something for a digital copy.
Oh geez.
So you buy it on Amazon. Amazon actually links it to your Comixology. You can read it on that app, so it's fine. I think there's Amazon is willing to take the hit on that. So.
I will say also DC has like the season ones, but for free. They're their 101 video or 101 comics. So they have like a Batman 101, Superman 101, all these things that kind of give you a general history of each character. And those are free if you go on DC. If you're in the digital sphere and you want to kind of, study up on some of the history and kind of start to find your own lines in your mind, that's a good place to go.
For $10 a month or $69 a year, you can subscribe to Marvel Unlimited, which has most of Marvel's backlog. Also has comics as new as 6 months ago.
Yep.
So you're not going to get stuff that's coming out right now. But if you're not interested in that, you just want to read. If you went to go see Infinity Gauntlet, you're like, hey, I want to read that story, but also I want to read the follow up to that story, all that, and you don't feel like spending, like $40-$60 on that whole thing. You could pay for Marvel Unlimited for a month and probably read it.
Yeah.
So that's also a way to like try out stuff too if you want to get into it. DC and a lot of Image stuff is Comixology has Comixology Unlimited is also something you can subscribe to. I think it's $10 a month also.
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm not sure how much is on there. I really don't use it. But also, if you have a library card, you can use Hoopla. And there's a lot of stuff on there you can try out.
Almost all of Image is on there.
I'm pretty sure all of Image.
And Boom Studios has obviously an exclusive deal with them because they release issues when they come out.
When they come out, they're on there. The only thing about that is that you get 7 titles per month, which is enough for me to try out things or read things. You could, but it's fine. Like I caught up on some series that I have around here somewhere, but I can't find. But I also caught up on a series we'll talk about it later, but there's recommendation. Like there's some stuff that I read. Hey, I am going to catch up on there actually.
Bullshit. I don't believe you.
There's some stuff on there you can try. Like I wouldn't probably have picked up, but I tried on there and actually I really enjoy. Like, so go on Hoopla, you can do that too. Or your local library. Let's talk about print comics. If you want to try something in trade, you can go to the library. They have trades. Some libraries, you check your library with their library, but they actually have monthly comics too. They come out when they go buy them and you can rent them out. Or if you want to, you're thinking, hey, how do I find a comic book shop? There's comicbookstorelocator.com. You go in there, you type in your zip code, it says, hey, these comic book shops exist around you. It tells you the closest one.
Or go to Google and type in comic shop.
Either one's fine. But I mean that comic book shop locator is an official diamond sponsor.
True.
So
that's true.
They'll tell you the official
nearest one here.
And you can find your local comic book shop and go check it out. That's the thing also, and I think you talked about this a couple weeks ago. Don't be intimidated when you walk in. There's going to be a lot of stuff on the wall. There's a lot of stuff around. And you probably also feel like, I probably should know what's going on. I feel like I'm going to feel dumb not knowing anything. Just go in. I guarantee you, like I said, somebody's going to want to help you out and want to be like, oh, you should read this. I mean, I know we do.
Yeah.
But I've seen other people too help other people out.
Well, no, to be fair, I won't say the name of this place I've gone to. I've gone to one store where their workers I really don't think could have given two shits. And the way it's set up drives me crazy because I don't know where to find anything in this.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't really think that's like a comic book shop. That's why. Like, be wary about that also. Like, if some places have comic books, but that's not their focus, I would find like a comic book shop that's like, that's in their name or like, that's what they do.
Well, this place actually is a defined, is it
in town?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a something comics place. And in all honesty, I walk in, it's like, there's just a hodgepodge of shit. And it's hard to find what you're looking for. The workers there are doing their own thing, playing on Google or whatever it is. It's like, you make it that element as a,
if you do run into that, I wouldn't get discouraged also. A lot of the community, I would say 90% are really good.
Well, to be fair, those comic book people, they want to sell you on a book. They not necessarily push you to a book, but they want to help you find what you're looking for.
Well, they want to share what they experienced reading a book. Like if they had a book they really loved, I mean, they're going to recommend it because they want someone else to love it too.
I would say there's 10% of the community that act like gatekeepers that are like you said, they're like kind of like, oh, you want to get into comics? Ignore them. They're like the 10% that like I don't really, maybe even smaller than that 5%. I've probably ran into it once, but other than that, no. Other than that, like when I when I first wanted to get into comics, I would ask people. I would ask you. Like everybody was fine getting into it. Look, we've talked before. Like our first interaction was talking about comics, and that's why we became friends. I don't know what the first time. I don't know why you became friends with this guy, but
it's when you farted.
when I fart books.
If you're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Lincoln, Nebraska, I mean, we don't just call out their name on the show because we don't like them. Rainbow Comics and Cards, really good about like getting into comics, letting you know what's good. So, and their system,
it's my home. That's my comic home.
Their system is very easy to understand. They have signs that say new comics, old comics. They have dollar comics. So, if you're local,
I've been to some. If you're a fan of the show and you've seen me go places outside the state, there's some shitty ass filing systems for comics out there. So hopefully, like Rainbow, they have a dedicated staff keeping that place organized. I've been to other shops where I'm like,
where the fuck is
you're
shit
this
at?
fucking popular and you don't keep your shit together? But
yeah, so there's a lot of places to get comics. Just look around, like you said, Google. Say, hey, how to get comic books, and I guarantee you it's gonna. It's only if you have your location on, though. So you can turn your location on and be like, hey, how do I find comic books? And they'll let you know.
Or you just type in your zip code.
Once a year, the first Saturday in May is free comic book day. That does not mean that everything is free. I mean, usually there's like a group of books that are free, but a lot of times comic
Good
book
sales.
shops have sales. It's a good time to try new things. It's a good time to support whoever your local comic shop is and get to know them, go in there. And that is like the prime time to go in if you're new. Because like that's a good time to get cheaper books, but also there's a lot of people there.
So it's a good way to
who
meet
are, like,
people.
pumped about getting their books, pumped about like sharing the love of comics. And that's, I mean, we've done that in line before to people that, hey, I'm just with my friends here, but I'm kind of looking into this stuff and like, hey, you should get this, this, and this. And guess what? The next year we saw them there again. The next year we see them there again. And now they're like super into comics and recommending stuff for us to try. So like, go and
it's
try
kind
it
of like
out.
a yearly checkup. It's like, I won't see you for a year, but when
Yeah,
we get together, we just kind of like, we just take off right from where we left off.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool.
Also, comic book conventions. If you have one local, go and check it out. And I guarantee you, there's some people there who will want to help you out and show you what's good. Speaking of what's good, now we're once again main rule: don't get intimidated. Second rule: just start.
Start
Like,
issue
don't-
one.
So just keep
I'm
reading.
kidding.
Don't wait. Don't wait for like doing a lot of research, being like, oh, I got to figure out the perfect place to jump on. The perfect place to jump on is whenever you feel like you want to read a comic. That's the perfect place.
And the best part is you can always go back. There's so much like behind you that you can go back and read. All it does is add to your current reading experience. It doesn't take away from it if you don't read it.
Yeah.
I'd say I personally got brought in at the right time when DC was getting ready to restart. So I was finishing out the pre-New 52 stuff. So when you did Flashpoint, that was a good time for me to jump on. But in all honesty, there is no wrong time to jump on.
I still got to say, whenever I run upon that super... Okay, I will tell you one thing. Never start on Superman Grounded. It'll bore you to death.
Well, let's talk about recommendations.
Okay.
So now you know you want to get into comics. You know where to find them. You know you have an idea. Okay, I could just jump into stuff. You're sharing it with people on Snapchat, and so you wonder. You didn't even hear me say.
I'm on Snapchat. That's what I'm saying.
You're wondering.
Talking to fans.
What do I read though? Like, and that I would say you can do research for. That's fine. If you're like looking into what to read, we're gonna give you some tips on some good stuff. First, we'll start with superhero stuff. So you're looking for something that's superhero based. Let's start with DC. DC Comics. Let's say you want to get into Aquaman. That New 52 series is pretty good. You could start there. Jeff Johns, right? I like
They're
it.
pretty thick in the mythology when you start that issue one, though.
Not really.
New
Not issue
52?
one. Yeah. it
If you're
starts
talking
over.
Rebirth, I'd say yeah. But New 52, oof.
I like New 52. Actually, that was my first time
Jeff
reading.
Johns wrote it.
That was
but-
my first time reading Aquaman month to month, and I
yeah?
didn't get confused. It was fine. But the Rebirth one is really good too.
Yeah.
So if you want to jump on there, if you go see that Justice League movie, you're like, I like this Aquaman guy.
Riding a
Watch those
Parademon.
two.
I have to admit that I do like Aquaman. I don't read enough of Aquaman.
Yeah.
Didn't you? In Justice League, he had arc 2, Throne of Atlantis. Was that good?
That was really good.
So
Yeah.
you can go get
The
that
animated
too.
movie is really good too.
Yeah, if you like
BT
that's that's a nice way to get into it too. If you're watching those movies, a lot of times they're based on actual comic book stories.
Material.
Go find it and you can read that. What about Batman? What would you recommend, Batman?
I think you mentioned a good one. Year One. I mean, if
Year One's good.
Year One is very simple Batman tale about why he does what he does. I mean, it's not very long. It's very short.
I have to admit it's a
Good
good
art.
book. Not for me personally. It's kind of a slow read because it really is a lot of mythology on just how he does what he does, why he's doing this,
That's true.
how he got started. This may be the wrong way to go. I think Long Halloween is a good start because
That
I
is a
actually
great
did give
book.
someone this as a Christmas gift. Going, this is a lot of my favorite part of Batman, detective work. But it's a good book to get you into who his rogues are, who he is as a character, how he does what he does.
And it really is a detective kind of story. So if you want the Batman that's really showing his detective side, Long Halloween's really good.
And if you want the better sequel that has a sidekick introduction,
You can read that. That's okay.
That's a good one to follow up. I agree.
It is.
If-
I mean, if on the grand scheme of Batman, it's up there in the
I'm just saying that to get under the skin.
top
but-
15.
it's because he's wrong.
Batman Earth one is also very good. That's also, but that's
Yes,
kind of on
that's
it.
incredible.
That's its own kind of universe. Understand that it's Earth one. They have their own universe.
Those Earth One books are great. Superman
They
Earth
are great.
One is amazing, except for that third volume because they changed the artist.
I didn't read the third. 1 and 2 were great. For
They
both those
changed the
books.
artist from Shane Davis to Adrian Sif for the third one, and I was kind of like,
That's too bad.
What the fuck? I'd rather you waited.
Hey, did you see they announced Flash Earth one? Or was it Green Lantern? Green Lantern Earth one.
Yeah, who's that written by? You told me the team.
I
It's a
know.
fucking good team.
You should look it up. Batman, going back to Batman, I would say also that if you want to ease into Batman, but you're not too sure about it, if you're kind of leaning towards non-superhero stuff, Gotham Central
Good one.
is very grounded about the police in Gotham City.
But it's got to be more of you're open to the fact that it's about Batman's world, but it's not necessarily about Batman.
Yes, he shows up, but he's not necessarily a main character.
Yep.
He's more like a side character in the book.
I think Hush is a good one for superb art. It does get a little bit more into stuff that has happened, stuff that you may need to do a little research, but for art-wise, it's a great book.
If you want to read something, once again, it's not in main DC continuity, Dark Knight Returns is classic.
That one is like so revolutionary. Like I think
It was one of my first books I read.
yeah, same here.
yeah.
I think if you read that, that'll kind of give you a lot of drive to why Batman is as he is. And then when you go to a younger version of him, you're like, how does he get to this? Like I know it's again, you can't
Slice and
follow
dice, baby.
continuity
Slice and
rules,
dice.
but you know, you're seeing how this life affects Batman, and like Dark Knight Returns is a great. Holy shit, that book's good.
I would say if you read all that stuff and you think it's too pedestrian, you want to get into something that's like more long form, more a longer story that pays off more, go back and see Grant Morrison's run on Batman. It's going to be very confusing if you don't know a lot about Batman, but just roll with it. Like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of references and stuff, and that is so subtle that like not everybody's getting it. So just read it for what it is, but it's great. Batman Incorporated, Batman and Robin,
dude.
Batman and Son, like where it starts, Batman RIP, all that stuff is good.
That first issue cover of Batman and Robin. Fucking
Where they're
gold.
standing out in front of the car.
Yeah, for Green Lantern Earth 1, it's Gabriel Hardman and Carino Beccio.
Oh, that's right. I like them.
But yeah, that one. The for Batman and Robin, that cover.
Oh, okay. I thought,
Yeah. What about the Bat? Well, before we move on from the Batman, what about his family? Nightwing? Was that New 52 series good?
By
Oh,
Kyle
Yes,
Higgins?
yeah,
It was good.
It was really good.
It was good. Even the Grayson series,
Grayson,
which I realize
would.
isn't
Tim
Nightwing,
Seeley,
but-
Mike McKill-Jenner.
You know, if you're really wanting a really good Bat family book that doesn't really focus on Batman, Cape and the Cowl, I know you need to understand the story that's going on. Basically, it's the entire Bat family fighting over Batman's cowl, like his to-be Batman. I think that's a fun story.
It's called Battle of the Cow.
Battle for
For
the
the Cowl,
Cowl.
yeah. That goes along with Morrison's run. I would say to read that if you're getting into that. Something that we'll talk about that later. Never mind. I was going to bring it up now because technically it's DC, but it'll fall better with the other stuff. Flash. I would say a good place to start is the Flash Rebirth with Jeff Johns.
Oh my God. One of the best graphic novels I've ever read.
Here's the thing. Well, there's going to be a lot of...
I don't know. I haven't read it.
There's
I
going
just
to
let
be
you borrow it. It's so fucking
There's
good.
going to be a lot of references, a lot of the past. Don't get confused because a lot of it is more of him trying to remind everybody and being like, and basically start a new path. So just read that, and then you can move on to The Flash by Jeff Johns and Francis Manapul, which is really great, amazing. And then later on, when it comes to New 52, then it's
Bucalato and
Francis Manapul starts writing it with Bucalato art. And Francis
Oh.
Manapul. He has colors. And that's pretty good too. And then the Flash Rebirth series, I think, has been pretty great. So you can start it there also if you want to. There's also a Mark Wade run, which is really good, and also a Grant Morrison. So go back and you can get those two. I think any of those you can jump in on. It's fine.
I have to admit, Flash is one of those characters that I've only gotten more into since New 52. That I don't have a lot of Flash related books.
I've known a lot of new readers are also really do like Flashpoint. So if you want to read that, that comes up a lot in media about like the TV show and the movie. They're making a movie out of it. If you want to start there, that's fine. But it's kind of
It might confuse you more.
It might confuse you. It's a little out there, but if you've seen the movie and you like the animated movie, I would say read it.
Yeah, because, man, with Flash Rebirth, it really does go into some heavy Flash mythology, but it's still enough that you can follow it.
If nothing else, it may spike your interest more in Flash.
Right. I think if you were to read Jeff Johns' run of the Flash coming into Brightest Day, that's his like first time writing Barry Allen outside of Final Crisis and Rebirth. That's a good place to start too.
Hey, Garrett, you know more about this than I do. Green Arrow. What if somebody's a fan of Arrow? Where do they go Green Arrow?
Okay. If you really want to tie in, if you're like a huge fan of Arrow, the TV show, Green Arrow Year One by Andy Diggle. I can't remember who the artist is. Jock did the art. Fucking amazing. Like, it's just really good. Obviously you're going to get your greens, but like literally the whole thing takes place on that island. Not Lian Yu, that's kind of added for the TV show, but an island that he gets lost on. It's a similar plot device and whatnot. To be totally honest, this run of Rebirth with Green Arrow has also been fantastic. I mean, if you're getting the roots of who the character is, you could basically ignore all of his previous history and start with Rebirth, because it starts out its own like pseudo history in Rebirth, like, him meeting Black Canary, but it's kind of pretending that they've never met before, things like that. It's kind of redoing his history, and it's so good. Plus you get Otto Schmidt's art, which again, that's not really something that you'll know yet. Creative people that you'll figure out over time. You'll figure out who they are, and you'll see what you like and don't like. But yeah, for Green Arrow Year One, definitely recommend. There's a lot of
there's a Kevin Smith run.
Kevin Smith's run. Mike Grell. I guess that's more art.
Yeah, Longbow Hunters. Right?
Yeah, Longbow Hunters. So there's a lot of good Green Arrow stuff out there. He's not as mainstream as everybody else, like Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman, but like I kind of like that when you get kind of those lesser.
Year One's a good place to start, though.
Yeah, Year One's so good.
You read Batman Cacophony, right?
Yes.
I believe that character Onomatopoeia is in the Kevin Smith run of Green Arrow.
Oh, really?
He's on one of the covers.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So I know that's a tiny free. I've been mean to tell you that for like when that series came out like 4 years ago, and I always forget.
I'm still waiting for the third part of that, whereas Cacophony into Widening Gyre, and then there's the third one that
I asked Walt when I was at the stash,
Yeah.
and he said, it's like it seems like Kevin Smith's schedule's too busy. He's like, yeah, I've been drawing, but we just haven't really been like working on it that much. He's been super busy.
Dude, that dude is so busy.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith. He's doing like a million things.
He's lost a shit ton of weight. Good for him.
On that run of Kevin Smith's Green Arrows by Phil Hester, also good art.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Green Arrow by Daniel O'Neill and Neil Adams. That's classic
Emerald
run.
Knights.
Oh, yes. Go and read that. Speaking of Green Lantern, Rebirth by Jeff Johns, Ethan Van Scriver.
Secret Origins.
I would read Rebirth first because it came first, and then read Secret Origins. So what the thing is that Green Lantern basically was in the dumps. Like it was like totally ruined creatively wise. And Jeff Johns came and did Rebirth, bring him back to who he used to be, bring back this character. This is going to be confusing because there is also a Rebirth Green Lantern. This is the different thing. And then he did Secret Origins, was basically like a year one.
You know what we didn't mention when we were talking about Superman? I guess we didn't even talk about Superman. Oh, is this coming up yet? Oh, okay. Just
he's doing alphabetical order.
So read that. The next thing is Sinestro Corps War is really great. And then Blackest Nights after that. That's like the Jeff Johns run of Green Lantern. I believe there's something else after that, but I don't remember what it is.
Which one's No Fear?
That takes place before Secret Origins.
Okay.
So you have to read that too. Jeff Johns. Look for Jeff Johns Green Lantern. That's all I have to say. And then you get that. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Corps for Rebirth has been amazing. Get that.
Absolutely.
If you want to read something that's more current. Also, Green Lanterns by Sam Humphries has been great.
Yeah.
That is something that they're
eye-opening.
They're brand new, so like they're learning too. So it's not something that's continuity heavy. You can catch up in that. Omega Man. Did you like Omega Man?
Yes and no. I every time I talk about it, it's just for me. It's the DC's version of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's this hodgepodge of people coming together to make a team. It's good. It's written by Tom King. At least the one I'd gotten was Tom King.
Yeah, it's by Tom King.
Okay.
Justice League was Jeff Johns' Justice League good? New 52?
I liked it.
Yeah. Oh, it was really good. Also, a great one, but this one would throw it over. Kingdom Come. Which
I was just about to mention Kingdom Come. Mark Waid and Alex Ross just understand also it takes place in an alternate future. Or not alternate, but it takes
oddly
place
enough, I will recommend this too. Injustice. Like that's your good take on the Justice League. It's a lot of fun. If you want to throw out rules, that's the fucking book to go.
So you mentioned him, and he's a big player in Kingdom Come and Injustice. Superman.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend for Superman?
So many things. Secret Origin, for sure, because that's like Jeff Johns does the retelling, just kind of like Green Lantern, of Clark Kent's origins. Superman Birthright is a good place to start. Those Earth One novels is a good place.
Birthright, if you watched Man of Steel and you liked it, a lot of that comes from Birthright.
I don't think I could say All-Star. That's really heavy in his...
Oh,
I mean, you could, but I don't think it's
All-Star's-
enough to start on.
If you read all these Superman things and you really like it, get All-Star
then
Superman
All-Star.
on
When you're
top.
thick in
Make
it.
that the cherry.
Is Secret Identity? But I know
Secret
it's not,
Identity-
I know it's not Clark.
It's not Clark. That one is the most realistic.
That's like
telling
Gotham
of-
Central. If
yeah.
if you're getting Superman, but you kind of want to also read something that's not really so superhero heavy, Secret Identity.
That book will make you fucking
That is
cry.
yeah.
I want to see Marvin read that book again now, he'd fucking tear up.
Oh yeah.
I did cry. When
I know
read
you did that one time.
it.
What other Superman stories
He's
are
final
there?
for his
How
kids.
could I make Marvin cry?
Red Sun is
Red
another
Sun's
one
good.
of those Elseworld tales. That book made me cry at the end. Like, it was fucking so powerful a story.
I've yet
There's
to read that one. That's one that I'd like to find.
so-
There's a
good.
Superman run with Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. It's really good.
Last Son of Krypton. Oh man.
Read that. If you want something that's more current, the new Superman book is really great.
Yeah.
Rebirth. You guys like Action Comics, right?
Action Comics has been good.
It's been pretty good.
Depends what you want. Superman's more about Superman and his family. Action Comics is more the
Mythology.
action pack kind of thing. So decide which part of Superman you like from reading those other stuff, and then move forward with that. You like the Supergirl book, that mini that came out, right?
Supergirl being super. It's very similar to like Secret Identity in nature. It's like its own secluded thing.
Yeah.
Um,
If you watch a TV show and you want to,
right. That one, yeah, definitely for that.
Like you said, Kingdom Come, Superman's a big player in that, so you can get that also.
Is there any Shazam books?
No, that's kind of been the struggle, is that Shazam hasn't had his own book. But I mean, you can pick up, I believe, a Shazam graphic novel because it takes all the ends of Justice League and puts them in one story. But it's like,
Yeah.
it's going to be very jumpy because it's 4 pages of book.
Teen Titans, which is something I'm really not that familiar with, but I know Jeff Johns wrote a Teen Titans run that was like 50 issues, so people talk highly about that run, so I would go find that if you're interested in Teen Titans. There's also a Young Justice series by Peter David that is the basis for that cartoon, so if you like that cartoon, go get that too. Wonder Woman.
Azrael run.
Azarello Cliff Chang. It is the new 52 run. It was from issue 1 to 35. It also had Secret Origins number 6. That is a great run. It's very mythology heavy though, so like, but it tells you in the story. You don't have to know anything, Pat. Like it tells you everything. Like they actually rewrite some of the history, so don't go into it being like, "What's all this stuff? I don't understand it." Half of it is brand new, and it's gonna clear up by the time you're done with it. So, I would recommend that. I do have liked. I think I read Wonder Woman. I read the new Rebirth back to back, and it was good still. Greg Rucka. So if you're gonna read it in trades, I would recommend reading it like that, or read it back to back. There's an old George Perez Wonder Woman. Go and get that. That's good too. And there's also that Wonder Woman Earth 1, Grant Morrison. It's okay.
I haven't. You read that, right?
But it's like something you could just read on its own. It's standalone. So
I just don't like Yannick Paquette's art. Ugh.
it's a little out of place. But I mean, if you're looking to get a Wonder Woman, also the last couple issues of this arc, have been actually pretty new reader friendly. So if you want to jump on, what did it start? 26? Issue 26. And there's been 4, right? So go and get 26 through 30 if you go to your comic book shop or find somewhere new and get those. You can start at that. That's fine. Why don't we go to Marvel real quick and give some recommendations there? Right? There's nothing else really, DC.
No, it's probably about at least the big ones I think people would get into.
Yeah, I mean, from there you can branch out and you can learn about your Blue Beetles, Booster Gold. But like, I think to start, don't get overwhelmed and try to get too deep. Just dip your
Start
toes
with
into
the character.
the main ones.
Yeah.
Oh, Trinity by Francis Manipul. Go get that too. Except for the last few issues.
The ones that aren't by him, don't get.
Avengers Ultimates by Mark Miller is pretty good. That's actually more in line with the movies. there's some characterizations that are a little off, so I don't know if I would start there, but you could read it and just know that it's alternate universe. So, but there's a Kurt Busiek and George Perez. I think that no, that's Steve Eagleman. Never mind. By Avengers, that's pretty good. Read Infinity Gauntlet, which is a lot of the movie's coming out. I know you're probably interested in it anyway, so that's really good. That's George Perez also, not for the whole thing, but some part of it.
Hickman.
If you really want to get into a long form story, Avengers and also the series New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman.
You think that's new reader?
I don't think that's new reader
That's
friendly.
way too thick.
You can start there. I mean, it's standalone.
It is.
But you would it's when I talk long form,
That's some dedication
you're talking
right
about
there.
like 60 issues.
Yeah.
So
it's 43 for Avengers, 33, almost 80 issues if you're doing Infinity.
yeah, so understand that when you're going into it. I mean, there's certain payoffs, but you're going into it to get that.
One series I will throw out there, the Avengers Assemble series they did a couple years back. That was based off the movie Avengers. It was not based off
Oh, really?
comic Avengers. So
Black Widow, Mark Waid and
Samney run.
Chris Samney run it's like a 12 issue, right?
Yep.
Yeah, mini. That was pretty great. It was pretty amazing. So go find that and get it. Now here comes my boy, Mr. Captain America. If you want to get to Captain America, if you saw that movie, you see any of these movies, you want to get into it. If you saw Winter Soldier, Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting, go and get that. You can read that on its own. That's fine. There is a great run. Ed Brubaker, go looking for Ed Brubaker, Captain America. Any of that is great. So anything with Ed Brubaker, go get that, and it's great. Mark Waid also wrote right before that. That's good also. Ron Garney did some art. Our boy.
What else was the other Cap story? Dimension Z by Rick Remender.
I'd say the
pretty
first,
good, yeah.
the first, not 19, 14, 15 issues were pretty good. Then he got onto I think he drifted away from doing what was good. That's my own thought.
I was looking over there being like, oh, what Captains? I have all of Ed Brubaker's. That's all I have.
So that's the thing is you talk about Captain, and there's not a lot of Captain books that come to mind going, oh, that's a good book.
Man,
that's just
time,
a Captain.
Yeah, Operation Rebirth. There's some stuff.
It's usually
but
Avengers-related stuff.
Yeah. If you get Marvel Unlimited, you can really dig it deep. Civil War, he's a big player in Civil War. If you saw that movie, it's a good starter comic, I think. It's not really, I wouldn't put it in top 20, I don't think, in terms of my favorite comics. But I know I started with it. You started with it. It's a good thing, primer, especially if you only watch the movies, to be like, oh, I understand who all these people are. Yep. It's action packed enough that you can fly through it and be like, okay, I want some more.
Makes you hate Iron Man.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get to Iron Man by Matt Fraction is pretty great. You won't get that. You didn't like it. Oh no.
No, I read it. I thought it was fine.
Oh, okay.
You know what else Matt Fraction wrote really well? Hawkeye
by Matt Fraction is pretty good. You want to get into that?
Daredevil, obviously, Wade and Samney.
Yep.
Their entire
Riviera.
run.
Yeah. Ed Brubaker right before him too, so that was great. Not right before him. Andy Diggle did a run, but don't get that one. Ed Brubaker, Michael Lark did a run. Brian Michael Bendis, Alex Maleev, Frank Miller, John Romita Jr. That's the Man Without Fear. Born Again also. Mark Waid's run. Deadpool. You like Deadpool? That Jerry Dugan run was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Look for Jerry Dugan and Brian Posehn's run. That was pretty good. I actually read that too. It's pretty good. You like those Deadpool by Joe Kelly? You ever read?
I don't think I've read that. I had read Daniel Way.
That's right.
I read most of that run.
Here's the thing you can actually get into. Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman. Go and get that. It's pretty great. There's also a Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom book, Triumph and Torment, that's on Marvel Unlimited. It's very hard to find anywhere else. It's seriously, I think it's out of print or something. But it's on Marvel Unlimited. If you want to read that, it's actually pretty good. It's 4 issues, I think. I read it. Doctor Strange, like I said, Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom. Go read that. The Oath by Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh, so fucking good.
Marcus Martin.
Don't know. Haven't read it yet.
Oh, yeah, I thought you read it.
You bought it to Unlimited?
Did you buy it too?
No, I haven't bought it yet.
Oh, I thought you bought the issues.
No, I've been waiting to buy it.
Marvel also does some good. Their original runs are actually pretty good. So if you want to get those, some DC is way too old. Marvel started in the 60s, so it's still if you read old. I read an old Doctor Strange, and it was fine reading it. Speaking of which, Fantastic Four by Stanley and Jack Kirby, you can read those. It's fine. Mark Waid also did a run. You know who did a run? Also Mark Miller, which some people don't like, but actually I think it's fine. FF by Matt Fraction, that was pretty a fun book too. I didn't read it, but I heard people said it was good. I think Corey. No, he didn't. Never mind.
No, he read FF.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He was
your
the one.
foundation.
Hulk. Incredible Hulk the End by Peter
Hulk
David.
the End,
I have that over there.
Great. Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk is also pretty great. There is... It's over there. I have it over there. Incredible Hulk's Visionaries, Peter David. It's a volume 1. That's also pretty great. So you want to get
Jason Aaron's run on The Incredible Hulk was awesome.
Did you like Mark Waid's run in Indestructible Hulk?
Not really.
It was interesting, but like I think it's all over the place.
Hulk. There's a lot of good Hulk stuff out there though. So Peter David, if you see that name on Hulk, I would get it. Alex, Immortal Iron Fist by Ed Brubaker, Matt Fraction, David Aja. You've been reading through that?
Say it one more time.
Immortal Iron Fist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Who the hell?
Ed Brubaker, Matt Fraction, David
Yeah.
Aja.
You said all these names. What the hell?
That's pretty great.
I've read the first 7, and it's been good.
The next few are by Travel Foreman and Dwayne Sarinsky. Let's see here. Jessica Jones, Alias.
Oh, I mean, if you watch the Netflix show, Alias is basically panel for
Ryan
panel,
Michael
same
Bendis,
thing.
Michael Gatos. If you want to get that. That is what they considered Max, right?
Max. Alias was Max. Now they have a current Jessica Jones book that's literally the sequel to Alias, but same
Dialed
team.
down. But it's dialed down, isn't
I mean,
it?
it's not as intense.
Yeah.
It still says parental advisory on it. But.
If you like Nick Fury, but not understand that he's different in the comics, Fury Max by Garth Ennis is pretty great. It's very Max also, though. It's like very mature. Or you can get Secret Warriors Volume 1. It's pretty great. Jonathan Hickman, one of his first things he wrote for Marvel. I have the whole run, and it is pretty amazing. And started my love for Mr. Hickman himself. Punisher. Rick Remender's run was pretty great. Oh, not Rick Remender.
No,
Greg
Greg
Rucka.
Rucka.
Greg
That
Rucka's
was
run.
good.
Rick Remender's run is good, but I mean, we read Greg Rucka's run together. Not together in the same room.
Of course.
But
Of course. Hell dance.
there's also Garth Ennis run for a while, Born. Welcome Back. Go and get those. He also wrote with Steve Dillon for a while. Spider-Man, where's the guest host number 1?
But Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man
So
is amazing from beginning to end.
Technically, yeah.
Get the whole thing. Yeah. When it ends, Marvel, that's part of the Ultimate Universe, obviously, so it's a little different. If you want to get into Spider-Man himself, Spider-Man Blue is pretty good.
Yeah.
Kraven's Last Hunt.
The whole Gauntlet run is great.
Corey loves the Death of Gwen Stacy. He loves early Spider-Man a lot too, and Todd McFarlane's run. He's talked about it, he's loved too. So a lot of good Spider-Man out there. Dan Slott's run is it's pretty good. I mean, it's already good. It's kind of now getting too much,
Yeah.
but big time. I remember liking that. Gauntlet, you said it was good. So there was a time right around that time is really good Spider-Man. So go get that. Thor, Ultimate Thor with Jonathan Hickman's pretty great. God of Thunder by Jason Aaron is amazing.
That's so good. Slide Rubik.
Go and get that. There is Journey into Mystery by Karen Gillan, which is about Loki. So if you like Loki from those movies, and you want to get into Loki, that's great. You can read that also. I'm going to skip past some of these. Thor, just look for, obviously, Stan Lee's early stuff too. It's good too. Walter Simonson. You talked about him on the show before too. X-Men. Uncanny X-Force. Did you ever read that recommender?
I read the first issue, but
okay.
I've heard it. I've heard it's good, but I've also heard it's kind of after. Who's the artist on that book? The first couple issues.
He also did Avengers. What's his name? I'll think about it in a second. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yeah.
Is that Rubik?
Sad Rubik. That's pretty good. Also,
I've heard after he gets off it, it kind of loses its.
Obviously, Chris
flair.
Claremont. That's a good thing too. Young Avengers. There was Karen Gillan run with Jamie McKelvey. That was pretty great. I love that. There's also one couple before that by Alan Heinberg. That was pretty great. Jim Chung. Let's talk about. So those are like find what character you like from those other things and go out there and say, type into Google, like Garrett said, top 5 Batman stories. You'll find them.
Yeah.
And go and start there. Don't worry about like, hey, where's this take place at? Like, what's going on? No.
Read
Just
the synopsis. If it interests you, get it.
If you're going to try to get into something that's non-superhero, let's start first with like, let's say science fiction books. Black Science by Rick Remender is pretty great.
Tokyo Ghost by Rick Remender.
Tokyo Ghost by Rick Remender is pretty great. Descender.
That's it.
You
Saga.
wouldn't know though.
What'd you say?
That's it. Saga would be a good choice.
Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. Descender is by Jeff Lemire. You can get into that. What else do I have?
Horror? Are you still on science fiction?
Science fiction. I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I'm trying to think of stuff that's like not too, those are easy to get into. Horror books. Hellblazer is pretty good. I have that over there.
Which
you want to get to Constantine? Witches is pretty great. Lock and Key is amazing. That's already done. You can get that whole thing. One of my favorite series of all time.
That's Joe Kelly, isn't it?
No.
It was Joe Kelly. Whatever.
Joe Hill.
Joe Hill. Oh, bad name.
Joe Kelly sucks.
If you want to get into...
Is that who read Spider-Man Deadpool? Or did?
If you've seen Hellboy, you want to get into Hellboy. Hellboy is a good place. Alex, if you want to get the library editions, if you really want to invest, it's not that much, $20.
It's like $30, I think, and they're big, big size books. They're wrapped in like a cloth covering. Oh, they're so good.
So you can get that too. Let's say action books, Deadly Class.
Yeah, that's about right.
Deadly Class. Get into Deadly Class. And Deadly Class. I can't really think of anything else. What else we got over here?
I said the sad thing is we get a lot of books that I'm running dry on.
Let's say crime books, criminal. Yeah, no, now we're getting
Fix.
to like the
Killer or Be Killed.
Fix is a good humor book.
Horror book.
Humor crime book.
Crime book. Humor book. We're going to get to that. Let's see what else we got over here. I have a list, but I feel like reading all the lists is taking forever. So that's why I'm not looking at this.
You know what is a good book is I Hate Fairyland.
I Hate Fairyland's a funny book.
Good art. It's a funny book. Hopefully you have no ties to anything Fable related. And speaking of which, Fables. Holy shit, amazing book.
2 books that are really, if you want to get something that's more grounded, Jeff Lemire's Royal City just started. You can get to that. That's pretty great. If you want, there's a book called Giant Days, which is actually pretty funny. It's about these 3 girls in college. That's something I read in Hoopla. Actually, I discovered, and I really like it. It's really good. And like I said, that's just about them in college. It's not really anything else. What else we got over here?
I think that's quite a bit.
Day Tripper.
I haven't read that yet.
That's good.
Get that and cry, and let me know how you feel.
Astro City.
There's a lot of the main thing.
Speaking of, I'm reading
Astro
Confessions.
City. Holy Jesus!
It's fucking good.
Watchmen.
Astro
Which I
City.
realize is more DC, but
Yeah.
Astro City is a good thing if you're like, I want to get superheroes, but I don't want to be bogged down with continuity. Astro City. There you go.
Cowl's a good one.
Cowl's good.
And obviously I think Watchmen, get a little bit into comics first, then read Watchmen.
Yeah.
Horror book wise, I actually would say for the fact that you and I at least are a little afraid of being underwater. Department H.
Department H. I kind of want to see where it's going. It's been good so far, but
Just starting to spin his wheels just a little bit.
the main thing to understand about getting into new comic books, right, is don't be scared. You can, if you get confused, hey, everybody's confused.
At some point or another.
If you have any questions for us, email us and we'll
Email
answer
us
them for you.
at WednesdayComics605@gmail.com. Thank you for the segue. Or find us on Twitter at Wednesday Comics. Let us know what you want to get into, and hey, we'll give you more recommendations. Or find us on individually if you want to talk to at Garrett2188, Alex Pastrello, Alex Pastrello, or at Pastrami_news, and find me at Marvin_news on Twitter. Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. If you're in Facebook, let us drop us a line. We'll help you out. Send us a message if you want some recommendations. Leave us a voicemail, 605-215-1849. That is the number. Leave us a voicemail if you're interested in something, and we'll play in the show. We'll answer your question. If you just want to leave a comment, that usually is at the end of the show. Stick around for that and see if anybody left a voicemail. Visit us at WednesdayComics.com. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your neighbor. iTunes. Go to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Google Play, Stitcher Radio. Thank you for everybody who left us a review on iTunes. Good job. Also, remember to visit rootsoftheswampthing.com, our sponsor, and rainbowcomicsandcards.com, and visit them if you're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Lincoln, Nebraska. They'll help you get into comics. I guarantee it. I
just want to say one reminder: read Umbrella Academy. We'll be talking about it on October 5th.
I keep forgetting. October 5th is the end of the quarter. We're going to be talking about the Wednesday Comics Book Club for Extraordinary Gentle People.
Whoa! Thanks.
I was seeing that on Twitter because I did tweet out that's what it's called.
I didn't even. Fuck! You didn't tag me. Not enough room.
Not enough room. Yeah, there wasn't enough room. It's a long ass name. I had to cut down that tweet to get it in there.
That's another special moment between me and Marvin.
But, right there, two compliments in one night.
I'm gonna savor that for you.
But the book club, we'll be talking about that. Please send in your voicemails, emails, tweets, whatever, how you want to talk to us. If you've read Umbrella Academy Volume 1, which is also a good place to start, hey, start with us. We'll get you into it. We'll get you into comics. And we're going to talk about it on the show. We're going to go over the book. We'll talk about it's coming to Netflix. We'll talk about the whole thing. And we'll get into UA V1.
Nice.
For Wednesday Comics, I've been the Midnight King, Marvin.
All right. I have been Alex.
I got nothing clever. I'm Garrett.
Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.